Wilson was sacked 8 times and redamaged an already tender shoulder. So while Wilson exits, the Raiders turn once again to the veteran Jim Plunkett to get them back on a winning track. For the New York Giants, last season's success created high expectations for this season. The headlines predicted greatness for this Giant team even before a single game was played. So when crucial mistakes led to an opening night loss to the Cowboys, the Giants had good reason to be disappointed, for their headlines far exceeded their performance. That disappointment helped fuel the fire of the Giants last week against San Diego as they intercepted 5 Dan Fouts passes to even their record at 1-1. And now perhaps the Giants are ready to fulfill the promise of their headlines. Presents the National Football League, and today it's the New York Giants against the Los Angeles Raiders at the fabulous Coliseum in Los Angeles. Weather conditions just could not be more ideal. Temperature 73 degrees, humidity 51%, wind southwest 4 miles an hour. The forecast is for it to remain as it is, mostly sunny. Good afternoon, I'm Pat Summerall, and as we're at this point in the season, this is as close to being a must game, although it's only the 3rd week for both of these teams, as a matter of fact, as one can be. The Raiders are 0-2, first time since 1964. The Giants are 1-1, but the Raiders face a very difficult challenge and a very difficult schedule. The big news, of course, is the fact that Mark Wilson is down and Jim Plunkett will start at quarterback. With me is John Madden, my colleague, and John, the news that Plunkett will start at quarterback certainly has to have some effect. What will it be?
Well, I know one thing about it. I know that the players have a lot of confidence in Jim Plunkett. But as Tom Flores says, Jim Plunkett has more comebacks than Rocky. I don't think Tom Flores knows if he has another one in him. I don't think Jim Plunkett knows if he has another one in him. I think they both feel they're going to find out today. Because we have to remember a couple things. One, Jim Plunkett hasn't played in a regular season game in a year. We also have to remember that he's 38 years old. And we also know that the Giants feel that they're going to go after him today. And I think Jim Plunkett and the offensive line of the Raiders have to be able to handle that rush. Now, on the other side, the Raiders are a tough defense. They figure if they're going to beat the Giants, they have to go after Phil Simms. So what we have here is 2 tough defenses that both feel that they have to go after and get the quarterback.
All right, John, set to kick off. Joe Cooper set to kick off for the Giants. Back deep, number 44, Stephon Adams, and number 41, Fulton Walker for the Raiders, just activated. Cooper, the 5th Giant kicker in the last 17 games. Stability has not been one of their virtues so far. A strange lineup. He must be going to do something to the... A line shot bounces in the direction of Walker. Now it's Stephon Adams who finally fields it. And hammers out to about the 19, maybe the 20. Robbie Jones, who always is excellent on special teams, is down quickly. A return of 16. Jim Plunkett, 38 years old, and here is the defense for the Giants that he will face, one of the very best. Martin, Burt, and Marshall up front. Excellent linebackers in Banks, Reasons, Carson, and Lawrence Taylor. And the secondary, Elvis Patterson and Terry Williams, the cornerbacks, Hill and Kennard, the safety. Raiders set to go from their own 20-yard line. Just underway with Jim Plunkett, the leader. Barksdale and Dokie Williams, the 2 wide receivers, are both split wide to the left. Plunkett is going to take a shot on first down. Out of the pocket he goes, chased by Marshall, gets rid of it. Intended for Marcus Allen, incomplete. Carl Banks, who has really developed, was the closest Giant defender, number 58. Here's the Raider offense, a veteran offensive line. In front of those backs, Plunkett, Allen and Hawkins, and the wide receivers Dokie Williams and Rod Barksdale. That's the offensive line. Davis, Hannah, Mosbar, the center, Mickey Marvin and Henry Lawrence on the right side, and Todd Christensen, the tight end. Lawrence Taylor and Leonard Marshall, Pro Bowlers of last year.
Those are the two guys the Raiders have to get blocked today in their pass protection scheme.
Allen is the deep back. Hawkins in front of him. Marcus Allen. 11 straight 100-yard games in regular season. He only got a couple before he stopped by Gary Reasons and Jim Burt. Tampa Bay finally won on the road. They beat Detroit at the Silverdome. Short trip back to Florida, 24-20, their first win of the year. Welcome those of you who watched that contest. We're at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. 3rd and 7 here. No score. We're just underway between the Raiders and the Giants. See if they can protect Plunkett. That's going to be a challenge.
I think the Giants are going to blitz him on this play.
Delay by the offense. Still 3rd down.
Tom Flores, the Raider coach, who replaced my colleague, Mr. Madden. Too much time.
Tom was saying, how the heck with that? You know, that's not the way they wanted to get started. He was talking about giving Jim Plunkett some confidence passes early. And of course, they didn't get that. Now they end up in 3rd and long. That's the thing they wanted to stay out of all day.
They need 12, and here comes that blitz by Taylor and Marshall. Complete down the middle. Marcus Allen. And a Raider first down. Stopped by Andy Hedden.
You know, that's the one thing the Raiders felt they have to do, that they're going to blitz Plunkett early. They know that. They want to see if they can block it and Plunkett can handle it. Now, when they do, they have to get those first few. They have to get that first good pass protection. You see the Raiders come up with good pass protection there in the first one, and now that may hold them off. That and Marcus Allen running. You know, you just can't concentrate on the passing and Plunkett because you got Marcus Allen back there.
Marcus Allen, one of the most complete backs in pro football. First down, Raiders just outside their own 30. Plunkett to Marcus Allen. Back for maybe 1 or 2. Jim Burt and Harry Carson on the bottom of the pile again.
I'll tell you who made that play is Lawrence Taylor, though. He was a linebacker on that side, and he got penetration, and he didn't give Allen any room to run. Let's watch it again. Here's Taylor. You see him, he takes a pinch move. He goes inside of Bruce Davis. Davis holds him. Then he takes on Frank Hawkins. You see, so then he didn't have any lead block there.
No gain for the Raiders. Make it 2nd and 10. He got actually about a half a yard. 2nd and 10. Plunkett back to throw. Rush quickly to Allen again. Marcus Allen close to another Raider first down. Gary Reasons on the stop. The Rams remain unbeaten, 24-7. Those of you who watched that game, welcome to the Coliseum in Los Angeles. This is the first series. Raiders received the kickoff. They've picked up 2 first downs. Pat Summerall here with John Madden. It is 0-0. Raiders now will operate with 2 tight ends.
This is going to be an interesting formation. If they're trying 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, I think that'll help them run against the Giants.
Dokie Williams split wide to the left. Plunkett back to throw again. Batted away by George Martin. Looking in the direction of Frank Hawkins. That's the kind of pass he's caught all year long.
Well, you know what he was doing? He was trying to get the ball out there, you know, on a short loop. Watch Lawrence Taylor rushing from the backside. He gets there to Plunkett just as he throws the ball. That's the 2nd time Taylor has taken an inside rush on Bruce Davis, and it's also the 2nd time Bruce Davis has held him. But somewhere along the way, the officials are going to see it and call holding number 79.
LT in his 6th year. 5 times a Pro Bowler. 2nd and long. Hawkins was the man in motion to get to Marcus Allen. Allen around the outside gets about 5. Carl Banks made the stop.
Yeah, one of the interesting matchups that you have to like about this game is that Marcus Allen has an NFL record for 100-yard games in a row. The Giants haven't allowed a 100-yard game in 10 games, so we got a good battle here. Marcus Allen, can he get his 100 again, or can the Giants stop him again?
3rd and 5. On the far sideline, in front of the Giant bench, their quarterback, Phil Simms, loosening up. Trey Junkin is put wide right. Back goes Plunkett. 3rd and 5. Caught by Junkin, who came all the way across the field. A juggling catch stopped by Elvis Patterson.
You know, that's an interesting thing. You bring in the backup tight end. You put him out here as a wide receiver. There's Elvis Patterson, the corner. He should be able to cover that. But you get the big guy, pushes off him a little, gets a couple steps. Patterson can't catch up with him. You know, the same thing happened last week to the Raiders against the Redskins. They put Didier out there as a wide receiver, and he got the big play against the Raiders that beat him.
Maybe that's how they got the idea. That's Junkin's first reception. Dokie Williams is split wide to the right this time, and Barksdale down to the left. A gain of 19 on his last play. They give on a reverse to Dokie Williams. Faced by Banks. He juked him. And finally, Banks makes the stop. Lawrence Taylor was the first man to face him. A gain of 5. Fourth quarter score, Seattle ahead of New England. Kansas City over Houston in the first.
You know, that play was set up for Lawrence Taylor because when you run away from Taylor, he pursues so quickly that the Raiders felt that they could get it going that way and then come back against him. The only thing is he's too good athlete. He can pursue that way and still make the tackle on the reverse.
It'll be 2nd and 5 at the Giant 30. Allen loose. Plunkett to Junkin. To the 10. Lawrence Taylor on the stop. A gain of 20. And Junkin damaged his knee. No question about that. It just collapsed.
You know, Trey Junkin was a linebacker who the Raiders converted to offense and tight end. Plunkett is looking deep. Look, he's looking deep, coming back. Then he came back to Trey Junkin underneath. As Plunkett looked deep, the Giant defense went deep. And then Junkin was able to come underneath it. Watch what happened right at the end of the tackle. He's hit high, but the knee collapses on him. Look at that left knee as he got that collapsed and then bent. Whew.
It bent the way it's not supposed to bend. While they get Trey Junkin over to the sideline, that's a final. Denver over Philadelphia 33-7. Woeful days for Buddy Ryan. That's in the fourth quarter. 35-34. Dallas over Atlanta. Both of those teams went in unbeaten. Tampa Bay 24-20 over Detroit. That's a final. Rams a final. They beat Indianapolis. Buffalo beat St. Louis. That's their first victory. And again, Denver over Philadelphia. Minnesota beat Pittsburgh 31-7. That doesn't look like the same group of Steelers. Seattle 38-31 over New England in the fourth. That's a dandy. Miami and the Jets 38-38 in the fourth. Marino has thrown 5 touchdown passes. Allen to about the 6. Reasons on the bottom of the pile again. A gain of 6 for Marcus Allen.
You know, one thing big about this game is the Raiders have had trouble in their first 2 games with pass protection. Here, they've come out and they've established it on this first drive. You know that Marcus Allen can run. You know that he's going to run. The Giants were going to get him. They were going to have to get him through the pass rush, but they haven't done it on this drive.
The first pass that Junkin caught coming across the middle, Plunkett had about 5 options. Allen again. Bounces to the outside, bounces to about the 4. Before Banks trips him up. Half of the attack is that great back, Marcus Allen. It's pretty well self-explanatory.
Well, the one thing, they would like to have more touchdowns and more receivers, but they have young receivers. Jesse Hester, their starting wide receivers out. They're starting Rod Barksdale, never played football in high school or college.
Rosedale is down at the bottom of your picture. Plunkett looking in that direction. Lofts it out of the end zone. Marcus Allen came down with the football, but he came down outside of the green and onto the white.
You know, again, Jim Plunkett has had time. He's had time to look for his first receiver, look for a second receiver, look for a third receiver. I'll tell you, that is out of bounds, out of the end zone, but it was still a great catch, wasn't it? Getting up in the air like that and bringing it down with one hand.
He is a remarkable athlete. Chris Barr will come on to try the field goal. And the injured Mark Wilson, who had started the first 2 games as quarterback for the Raiders, will hold. Barr hasn't missed from 22 yards out. 3-0 Raiders. Well, again, the thing that John Madden was talking about, the thing that the Raiders felt that they must do is protect Jim Plunkett. And I would say on that first drive, John, they've been pretty successful at that.
Well, and you know, you take Jim Plunkett, he has to be rusty because he hasn't played in a year. And I talked to him yesterday, and he said, you know, the one thing I have going for me, I'm healthy. I'm not beat up. He said, I feel good. I feel strong. But the other thing that he didn't know about is confidence. You know, can I still play? Can I still move the team? And I think that drive, even though they didn't get a touchdown, was probably the biggest confidence thing for this guy right here.
Well, he certainly seemed very cool and very comfortable throughout that drive. 14 plays. They went 75 yards. And Chris Barr finished it off with a 22-yard field goal. And now the Giants, with Phil Simms at the helm, will get a chance to operate on offense. The Raiders lead it 3-0. Barr to kick off. Mark Collins and Kenny Hill back deep for the Giants to receive Barr's kick. 3-0 Raiders. We're in the first quarter with 7:15 left. Short kick. It is Kenny Hill. And he's got some room. Hill. There's a penalty marker down. Barr with a shot at him. And Barr takes him down on the far side of the field. But there's a penalty marker back at about the 25-yard line.
And you know when there's a penalty marker on a kick return that it's going to go against the return team. It's usually a clip or a block from behind. And it is. And the Giants bring it back. And the officials bring it back, and the Giants play with it back.
Red Cashin signals the violation. He is the referee.
Holding during the run back. Number 57 of the receivers. First down at 10.
Byron Hunt, number 57, called for the violation.
Hey, that was a big play. That was a big play for the Giants and a big play for Kenny Hill. You remember Kenny Hill was drafted by the Raiders and was traded by the Raiders to the Giants.
Phil Simms looking over that Raider defense. Referees say hold up just a second. Phil looks over that defense, and here is the personnel. Howie Long, maybe the best player in the league on defense. Bill Pickell in the middle and Sean Jones the other end. The linebackers, Jerry Robinson, Millen, McKenzie, and Martin. The secondary, the two great cornerbacks, Hayes and Haynes, and Stacy Turan, and Van McElroy, the two safeties. They have a lot of faith in that defense.
You know, the officials have taken time out down here in the field, Pat. I'm not sure what they're doing or talking about.
My guess would be that there's something wrong with the scoreboard clock.
Well, they did move the ball back 5 yards. The referee, Red Cashin, has the ball in his hand now. I don't know where he's going to put it. I think they may have lost the spot. Usually when the referee walks around with the ball in his hand, they don't know where it's supposed to be. They spotted it once, they spotted it twice. Now this is the third time they've spotted it. I wonder if they've gotten replay help to see where the spot was.
Well,
they just moved it again. That's the fourth spot they've given this ball. They'll get it right. If they spot it 4 times, usually in one of those 4, they get it right.
the odds are good.
Look at that, 4.
They settled on the 18.
That's a good number.
First and 10 Giants from that spot. 7 minutes to go first quarter. Phil Simms is going right to work. Lionel Manuel is back there with Lester Hayes. Manuel, number 86. Here's the Giant offense. Simms, the quarterback. Joe Morris and Maurice Carthon, the runners. Bobby Johnson was supposed to start. Stacy Robinson took his place. Lionel Manuel, at whom the first pass was aimed, the other wide receiver. Up front, it's Denson Ard, Oates, Godfrey Nelson, and the NFL's leading receiver going into this game, Mark Bavaro at tight end. 2nd and 10. Manuel in motion. Hand off Morris. Joe Morris got over 1,000 last year, is hammered down by Bill Pickell after a gain of 2.
That's an interesting matchup there. Bill Pickell playing the nose tackle against Bart Oates. Again, you get back to those nose tackles. You know, those are the guys that if you're going to try and run between the tackles, you have to get the nose tackle blocked. They didn't get Pickell blocked. He took on the tackle, boom, right down the line of scrimmage, made the play on Joe Morris.
3rd and 8. Stacy Robinson split wide to the left. Manuel on the move again. Simms has a pass knocked up in the air. A penalty marker is down.
I think that whistle blew, Pat, before the ball was snapped.
No play. Number 60, false start on the offense. 5 yards and still 3rd down.
That's Brad Benson. You know, an interesting thing, Brad Benson's a left tackle. He had to block Howie Long. And I'll bet you, I don't know if they have a stat for this, but I'll bet you Howie Long draws more penalties than anyone in the NFL. I think of all the defensive players in the NFL, he's the most dominant player. And he gets holding penalties against him, offsides. Everyone is conscious of blocking that guy. Brad Benson just wanted to get started a little early.
You need a false start to block him.
Hey, I got to block Howie. Let me start early, man.
3rd and 13. Solomon Miller split wide to the left. Simms back, chased out of the pocket. Here comes Long after him. Simms throws back across the middle. A flag is down on the far side of the field, however. Tony Galbraith was the receiver.
Now that one's going to be against the Raiders. That was Howie that left early that time. Howie didn't line up against Brad Benson. He lined up over Billy Ard, and he took off early.
Phil Simms got up very gingerly. He is shaking a bit. Offsides against Howie. False start again, 2 in a row.
That's what they said they wanted to do. I was talking to Howie yesterday. He said he wants to get in there and flush him out. He'll go in there, not let Simms get set up, but get him there, make him get out of that pocket, get penetration. He did that, but he started a little early.
Well, he flushed him out.
He flushed him out, but he got 5 for the flush.
There might be 2 penalties here. Greg Townsend was the other Raider who applied the pressure.
Offside, number 75 on the defense. It'll still be 3rd down.
It'll still be 3rd down. Simms got up slowly. Well, look what's happened to the quarterbacks in the year of 1986. Mark Wilson here. Hogaboom of the Colts is out. McMahon, separated shoulder. He's been out. Missed last week. Probably missed tomorrow night. Montana's out for maybe the year, maybe forever. Danielson of the Browns broke his leg in preseason. Dieter Brock out with knee surgery. Steve DeBerg with an elbow puncture. Danny White started today, but it was doubtful. But it's a tough year for quarterbacks. Simms out of the shotgun. Chased, and there's a penalty marker down. Back where it is, it has to be holding as Simms scrambles for enough yardage for a 1st down, but I'm sure they will bring it back.
You know what Bill Parcells was telling us? He said, watching guys block Howie Long, he says he makes them grab their face mask and hold them. He said, as you go to block them, he knocks their hands up.
Number 60 on the offense. Still 3rd down.
He knocks their hands up into the face mask. And I'm not sure if Howie Long was the guy who Benson was penalized for.
I think he was.
But if it was, then he usually puts himself in that position.
That'll bring bring up a third down situation. 3rd and 18, or 3rd and 13, make it. Back at the 15-yard line now. Sims on the spread formation. High snap, pressure. Sims gets rid of it. Picked off. Mike Haynes with the interception. And down the sideline with blockers and out of bounds at the Giant 23. Lionel Manuel knocked him out. And the Raiders will operate in great shape.
Well, the Raiders were in their pirate defense, and what happens, they usually play man-to-man. I don't think Phil Simms read that, because the guy he threw it to, Haynes, was just sitting back there all by himself. And I think he looks as we're going to see Haynes come back here, and as he throws the ball in here, he has coverage, and then he throws it over his head to Haynes. But watch what happens and what Phil Simms sees. You see, Haynes is just backing up, and he's just waiting back there. Now, he was throwing to the inside guy. Haynes was playing zone. They're usually man-to-man, but they weren't on that play.
Raiders operate on first down from the Giant 23. Allen straight ahead. Gets maybe one, no more. You mentioned pirate defense. What is that?
Well, the pirate defense is the Raiders' 5 defensive backs. And they have a bandit defense that's 6 defensive backs. Now, usually when they go into that, they play man-to-man. Phil Simms was expecting man-to-man. What they did, the Raiders changed it up and they zoned it. I don't think I've ever seen them zone on a pirate.
It's a big order, zoning on a pirate.
That's what they're talking about there. You see they're shaking their heads at the sideline. Boy, that zone the pirate worked, huh?
Second down. 85 cleats. Allen moves out of the backfield. Motion right. Plunkett off to Hawkins. And Hawkins inside the 20 to about the 17. Stopped by Banks. A gain of 5.
I'll tell you one thing, and I still say that on that first series, the Giant defense let the Raider offense off the hook. I think confidence now is in this Raider offense. I think confidence is in Jim Plunkett. And I think that if the Giants are going to do anything, they're going to have to do it with their defense and take it away. The defense of the Giants isn't making anything happen.
These are 2 of the best and most punishing defensive units, certainly, and perhaps the entire football team in the NFL. Third down. And 5. Plunkett, quick drop, quick throw. Incomplete. Barksdale, I believe, was the intended receiver. Plunkett thought he was going in. Barksdale went out.
Well, you know, that's one of the things that Tom Flores was talking about. He said, we just have young receivers. Rod Barksdale, again, who he was throwing to on that team, he said that he hasn't even played. He didn't play in high school. He didn't play in college. And here's Dokie Williams on the other side. He only had 8 receptions in college. He's trying to get free there. He's open. Elvis Patterson, he got by Patterson. Patterson just grabbed a handful of jersey.
Barr from 35 yards out. He's made one from 22. Wilson holding. And he's good again. Barr has been perfect this year. And the Raiders take a 6-0 lead with 3:17 left to play in the first quarter. 35-yard field goal by Chris Barr makes it 6-0 Raiders, and he is set to kick off. Just teeing it up. Back deep for the Giants, Kenny Hill and Mark Collins. Interception by Haynes set up the second field goal. The Raiders put together a 75-yard march to get the first field goal. So it's 6-0 Los Angeles. Good kick by Barr. Kenny Hill will field it at 2. But a good return the first time. Not this time. Sam Seal down in a hurry.
Sam Seal flew down there. He was the outside guy on the left, what you call the L5 man. He came all the way down the field and then all the way across the field to make that tackle. anytime a special teams and a kickoff can make the tackle inside the 20, that's a big play for the kickoff coverage. But that guy was running about 9-2 down there. Someone stuck him in one of those cannons they have out here and shot him out of it.
So the Giants start then from their own 7-yard line, 1st and 10. Their second series. The first one ended in an interception. Sims fakes the draw, will throw out of the end zone. Fires down the middle. Has Stacy Robinson. Outside the 20 to about the 24. Back to New York. Update from Brent Musburger.
Well, Pat, the drama unfolding down in Dallas. A minute to go, David Archuri is back. He wants Floyd Dixon on the left side. Dixon has contact with the defensive back. He makes the catch. He gets up and scrambles toward the end zone. He is stopped, but 3 plays later, Mick Luckhurst kicks a field goal. 37-35, 20 seconds to go. Back to Pat Summerall.
All right, Brent, 6-0 here at the Coliseum. The pitch is back to Morris. Morris chased and cut down from behind by Bill Pickel. We're at the Coliseum in Los Angeles on a beautiful day. A loss of 2 by Morris. Pat Summerall with John Madden. The Giants and the Raiders leading 6-0.
The Giants, I mean, the Raiders have just gone into their pirate defense again, Pat. That 5 defensive backs. They got the interception the last time they went on it when it went into a zone.
Greg Townsend in the rushing unit, number 93, 2nd and 11. Sims back to throw. Has time and overthrows his tight end, Mark Bavaro. He's been looking in that direction a lot more lately.
Well, I think that's one thing that the Raiders are looking for, too, knowing that Bavaro is his favorite receiver, so they're going to put a lot of attention on that coverage.
That'll bring up a 3rd down situation, 3rd and 11. Crowd starting to chant defense. The Raiders have given them that so far. 1:43 left first quarter. Sims out of the spread. Again, it looked as if Benson jumped. It might have been Billy Ard. It was on the left side of the offensive line.
Yeah, I think that one was Billy Ard.
False start. Number 67 on the offense. Still 3rd down.
Watch the left guard there right next to the center. You see, again, he's starting his pass protection early. The guy that he's blocking on is Sean Jones, who's the leading sacker on the Raiders this year. He's the guy that started at the right end. He's taking Lyle Alzado's place. Alzado, of course, retired.
3rd down. They need 16 for a first. Sims again out of the spread. Gets it outside to Tony Galbraith. Stacy Turan herded him out of bounds. A gain of 4, not nearly enough for the first down. And Sean Landeta will come on to punt. Fulton Walker just activated by the Raiders back deep. Walker at about the Raider 35. 1:12 left to play first quarter. Raiders lead it 6-0. Flag again. Landeta gets off a good punt. That was a flag before the play got underway.
That'll stop it. It looked like it was against the Raiders. It looked like they jump unless someone on the Giants moved, but in either case, it'll just be a 5-yard penalty, and it won't be enough for a first down, so it's still going to be a punting situation.
Encroachment. Number 59 on the defense. Still 4th down.
You know, these guys get up there and they're looking for anything to move. Now watch the center's head. You see, he moves. He's just moving his body. He moved his head, but didn't move the ball. And of course, they have to wait till the ball moves. But they're up there ready to go, and they're going to move on anything.
So Landeta will punt this time from about his own 13-yard line. Gets off a rocket. Flags are down again. Walker goes all the way back to his own 11-yard line. Gets away from one man, 2. Is knocked out of bounds at about the 17 by Gary Reason. But a flag is down. 60-yard punt by Landeta. A 6-yard return. So they net 54 out of that, but I think they'll bring it back.
Well, the Giant defense is coming on the field.
Maybe they won't bring it back.
Yeah, the penalty was against the Raiders. The Giants liked that punt, so they're going to stay with that deal.
Holding.
Atlanta beat Dallas 37-35.
First down at 10.
Two seconds left to play in the first quarter, with the Raiders leading the Giants 6-0.
Ladies and gentlemen, Raiders Spanish language game broadcast.
Again, the first quarter has been pretty much
Radio 1020 on your
in charge of the Raiders.
Well, you know, the Giant offense looks like it's out of sync, and I don't know if that's the Raider defense doing it or part of the Giant, but it looked like they're still on the airplane, you know, kind of like somewhere over Omaha, Nebraska or something.
Well, you know, they came out on Friday to try to prevent that.
Yeah, and they practiced yesterday at Loyola, and but they just don't look like, you know, they don't have any running going. They don't have their passing going. They've had, you know, a couple offsides. Guys have jumped early, and they look maybe a little nervous, or maybe antsy is the word. Whatever it is, they're not into this football game yet.
Well, the Raiders are 0-2 going in. Look at this time of possession. The Raiders have had the ball 9:25. The Giants 4:53. The Raiders have it again at their own 5-yard line. Raiders are 0-2, John. I started to say, but you think about the loss to Denver and then last week to Washington, they haven't played that poorly.
Well, you know, like Tom Flores says yesterday, he said, I thought about that Denver game, and he said, we played well offensively. And the Redskin game, we played well defensively. He said, Friday night, I had all my papers out there, and I was worrying. He said, I started thinking, I said, we really aren't bad. So I said, I took all my papers, threw them in the bag, and watched a movie with my wife. Sometimes you do that as a coach. You have these little meetings with yourself. You know, like, are we okay or we're not okay? And you decide we're okay. Well, what the heck? Watch a movie.
Sometimes I think everybody needs a meeting with themselves. Right now for an update, let's go to Brent Musburger back in New York.
Well, Pat, here is the last play of the game down in Big D. From the shotgun, Danny White has got Tony Hill. Now, the issue here is whether or not Hill could have stepped out of bounds and given Septien a shot. He did not. Let's go back to Pat Summerall. Cowboys lose it.
Marcus Allen. Straight ahead, stopped by Jim Burt. Started from his own 5, a gain of 4.
You know, I think this is where the Giants can do something now. They have the Raiders inside the 10. I think this is where they can put the pressure on them, not let them get a first down, force them to punt, and then start with good field position. But these guys here have to do it. Leonard Marshall has to come up with a play. Jim Burt, Lawrence Taylor, one of those guys has to make something happen here.
There's Leonard Marshall up close. It takes a wide lens. Hawkins moves in motion. Allen again straight ahead. Outside the 10 to about the 11. A gain of 3. That'll be the end of the first quarter. They'll swap into the field. And after 1, it's the Raiders 6 on 2 bar field goals. The Giants nothing. To begin the second quarter, 6-0. The Raiders lead the Giants. The Raiders have the ball at their own 12-yard line. They need about 3 for a first down. Raiders had the ball 10 minutes and 7 seconds in the first quarter. The Giants had it 4:53. Raiders got 2 field goals. 6-0 they lead. Jim Plunkett is the quarterback. Andy Parker was the movement. Plunkett back to throw. Got a man open. It's Marcus Allen. Allen out of bounds at the 46-yard line by Terry Kennard. A gain of 34 yards.
I'll tell you, I know what Jim Plunkett thought when he seen that he had Marcus Allen out there, and he has a man-to-man against the linebacker, Andy Hedden, 54. That's a mismatch. He got that. When you get one of your best players on a linebacker that can't stay up with him, you know you're going to get a big play. That's what you do with a guy like Marcus Allen. You put him here, you put him in motion, you put him out, you try and create that linebacker on him all by himself. That time was Andy Hedden.
And Marcus Allen, who plays every down, can do everything, and he's got a chance to do it again. He only got about a yard, stopped by Harry Carson. Maybe 2. The word on Trey Junkin, who was injured his knee, is that he will not return. He has some apparent ligament damage. His knee buckled and bent the wrong way.
Well, the Raiders do carry 3 tight ends. Todd Christensen, of course, is a starter. Trey Junkin was playing as a second tight end, and now they have Andy Parker, who's still playing as a second tight end in place of Junkin.
Parker's number 81. Plunkett back to throw. Fires sidearm out intended for Marcus Allen. Elvis Patterson, the defender.
Yeah, I don't think Todd Christensen has caught a ball yet, and I'll tell you one thing. This Giant defense is really aware of him. You know, in that play, let's see if we can watch it on the chalkboard and just see what they do to a guy like Todd Christensen. Here he is. Now watch as he comes out, how the linebacker just grabs him, holds him, rides him all the way, then says he didn't do it. Watch him here. You see him, they hit, then they grab, then they stay with him, and then at the end they put up their hands like they didn't do it. But that's good coverage, though.
You got to hold him up somewhere. Once he gets into the secondary, Plunkett has some pressure applied, chased by Marshall, gets to Marcus Allen, but a penalty flag is down.
That's going to be on the Raiders, though, on the Giants, though, Pat, because they were holding, again, Todd Christensen. The play before, they didn't see it. That time, Christensen was over on this side, and the Giants held him, and the official did see it.
Holding. Number 34 on the defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Elvis Patterson.
See, watch him. You see, he's up there. He's grabbing him. You see, he has the hand in there, the left hand on him, pulling, everything. The time before, they didn't see it. I think they've been doing that to Todd Christensen the whole game. They caught him on that one. See, Elvis Patterson should have known what happened the play before and not done that, because they were watching him, because Christensen complained the play before that.
But it was a linebacker the play before, so Elvis had no way to know. On first down, they give to Hawkins, and Hawkins gets down to about the Giant 26. George Martin tripped him up. A gain of 4. Plunkett doesn't look rusty.
Oh, I tell you, and he has a real feel with those backs. I mean, so far, Marcus Allen's caught 4 passes for 80 yards. Jim Plunkett knows how to use everyone. I mean, he's not the type of guy who's just going to use his tight end or just a wide receiver. He really does move the ball around well.
Total offense 150 for the Raiders and only 23 for the Giants. You can't move much without the football. Plunkett. Outside Hawkins. Hawkins hammered by Lawrence Taylor, but without the ball.
I'll tell you one thing I think that has helped is right here, this pass protection. I think that thus far in the game, the Raider offense has dominated and blocked and kept out that Giant defense. You see what they did to Jim Burt? They had him there on the line, really never got off, blocked both ends. They're really, so far, they haven't gotten close to Plunkett. I think they're going to go to a little more pressure with the linebacker.
Well, that's what the Redskins did to him last week. The Redskins beat him 10-6. 3rd down and 6 now. Plunkett back. Here comes the blitz. Into the air, and the Giants come up with the interception. I think Leonard Marshall caught it in the air. Yes, he did.
That's the type of thing that they had to do. They had to come, they had to get something, they had to get penetration, they had to come on a blitz, they had to bring some guys, they have to make something happen. You see, Hedden, the guy who Marcus Allen beat, is the guy who beat Marcus Allen and caused the fumble.
And Marshall came up with it.
Oklahoma has a devastating defense. Number 2 ranked Miami fields a defense-defying aerial attack. The 2 top teams in the nation next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Back at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, the Giants have the ball. 1st and 10 at their own 32 after the interception by Leonard Marshall. 12:52 left to play in the first half. Solomon Miller splits out wide to the right. Robinson is to the left. give to Joe Morris. By far his best game of the day. Reggie McKenzie on the stop.
You know, in that fumble, the interesting thing, Pat, watch, here's Lawrence Taylor, and he draws so much attention. Bruce Davis at tackle is going to block him. Taylor fakes and doesn't come. Andy Hedden comes from the outside, and no one blocks him. Now watch what happens to the tackle, Bruce Davis. You see, he's waiting. Now Taylor didn't come. Now right there, he is 79 all by himself with no one to block, and Hedden is hitting Plunkett in the back.
2nd and 1. Manuel in motion. Handoff is to Maurice Cartman. He got enough for the first Giant first down. Stopped by McKenzie again. A gain of 3. They're going into overtime at Giant Stadium in the meantime. 45-45. First down, Giants at their own 44-yard line. They trailed 6-0. Incomplete down the middle. Intended for Manuel, nothing doing. Lester Hayes on the coverage.
That was one of the things that they were going to do, is they were going to work on Lester Hayes with Lionel Manuel. That time they did a lot of work with him. They brought him in motion, ran him to the inside, stopped him, or ran him back to the outside. Lester shaking his head. He had it all the way. He said, I had the motion, I had the in, I had the pivot, I had the out.
Lester is lighter than in past years and in good shape. He looks good.
One of the rules of a defensive back is a corner, as you get older, you better get lighter.
Lester has obeyed the rules. Here's Sims to Morris. Flag is down. Morris cuts left side. Gets up to midfield. A gain of 6. But a penalty marker down. Rod Martin on the stop.
I think that's one thing that the Giants haven't established yet this season is a running game, and specifically Joe Morris. Of course, he held out most of training camp and then signed just before the first regular season game, and I think that may be one of the reasons that this offense is still a little out of sync. I think Joe Morris is a little out of sync.
Well, Bill Parcells was saying to us yesterday.
Neutral zone, number 99 on the defense, still 2nd down.
Sean Jones started to say, Bill Parcells was saying, for the first time this week, late this week, in practice, Morris has started to look like he did last year.
Well, that's one of the things that a back has to have, is offensive line and quarterback and stuff to work with, and the offensive line has to have that back to work with.
2nd and 5. 9 penalties already in this contest. Sims to Morris. Morris cuts back over the left side. Should be enough for a first down. A gain of 6 into Raider territory to about their 45. McKenzie again on the stop.
Isn't it something how success breeds success? You could see the Raiders had things going, and then the Giants come on a blitz with Head, and they get the ball back, and now they're getting the momentum. They're getting a little running going. Once you get that going, it's a lot easier to pass.
10:50 left in the first half. The Giants now are the ones who are chewing up the clock. 1st and 10. Morris again. Hammered in the back of the head by Van McElroy. Rod Martin was up there first. A pickup of 3, make it 2nd and 7, and a passing down.
And McElroy is one of those guys that'll come up and pound you in different places. I'll tell you, he is a tough guy. They have to control him in practice. He has a hard time even in practice not hitting his own guys.
They lost him to injury late last year, and when that happened, they lost a big package.
You have to have someone back there who's going to tackle, because he helps on the runs and pass. You don't get big plays against a good safety.
Sims back on 2nd down, throws outside, incomplete. Flag is down. Mark Bavaro, the intended receiver. Jerry Robinson was the defender, and that was a takedown. That should be a first down.
Jerry Robinson tackled Mark Bavaro before the ball got there. It's interesting. I don't know that either Bavaro or Christensen have caught a pass yet.
They have not.
Defense, 1st down.
And of course they're the big 2 receivers on the team. Watch Robinson here. The ball's in the air, and he has his tackle all done before it gets there.
That's not allowed. Don't need a replay for that one, do we?
Nope.
First down, Giants. Again, Morris. Oh, Lee Roussan, not Morris. Morris has gotten a rest. Reggie McKenzie again on the tackle for the Raiders. A gain of 5 for Roussan. Here comes Morris back in now, and out goes Jeff Hostetler, who had been in the game as a wide receiver.
Those are two areas that the Giants are a little light, and that is, one is running back, and the second is wide receiver. With Bobby Johnson hurt, they only have 3 wide receivers. They only have 2 halfbacks anyway.
Sims back to throw. Raiders on a blitz, but they get it down the middle to Mark Bavaro. And Bavaro is tough to get down, gets down finally at the 15. Turan and Van McElroy, a pickup of 20.
Well, Stacy Turan knows about Mark Bavaro. Watch, number 30 is playing man-to-man on number 89. They were teammates at Notre Dame. So Turan knows that when you get Bavaro, you better hold on and hope you get some help. It's going to take a couple of them to get that guy down. I've never seen tacklers bounce off a receiver as much as I've seen off this guy. This guy leads the league in tacklers that have bounced off his body.
If they ever keep that stat, I'm sure he will. Manuel goes in motion. Sims goes back to throw. Fires incomplete. Lester Hayes, the defender. Stacy Robinson was the intended receiver.
This was one of the game plan, one of the parts of the game plan of the Raiders is they thought they could work on Lester Hayes, and were going to try to. Now, I think that the closer you get to the goal line, the tougher it is. I think you can work on Lester, but I think you need a little more room than 15 yards.
Sims is 3 out of 8. The Raiders lead 6-0, but the Giants are at the Raider 14-yard line with 8:20 left in the first quarter. Solomon Miller, the movement. Handoff is to Morris. He is met at the line of scrimmage by Greg Townsend.
Head off to Joe Morris.
For an NFL update then, let's go back again to Brent Musburger in New York.
Pat and John, overtime. Jets win the toss. They receive. Ken O'Brien pulls out. He's already thrown 3 times to Wesley Walker. Here he goes for number 4. 65, 50, 20, and 43 yards. The Jets win in overtime over the Dolphins. A controversy will update at halftime. Back to Pat Summerall.
That must have been some contest, that one.
Thank you.
Ball spent a lot of time in the air.
I'll tell you. I know Marino has thrown 5 touchdowns. Third down. Sims back to throw. Has a man around his ankles. It's Greg Townsend. And down he goes. Howie Long was the second man to arrive on the scene.
That was a heck of an effort by Townsend. Greg Townsend is going to come from the outside. He goes around Carl Nelson right at the top of the screen. Then he's going to come back in, and he just keeps working and working, and he gets Phil Sims's right leg. And Howie Long comes to help him. Greg Townsend is the designated pass rusher of the Raiders defense. Real good speed.
39 yards out for Joe Cooper with Jeff Rutledge holding.
Jeff Rutledge to hold.
The new addition of the Giant kicking game. And no good. Wide left. So the Raider lead holds. With 7:09 left to play in the first half, it's still 6-0 Los Angeles. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Michelob Light, super premium taste and less filling beer. Toyota, builder of tough, powerful, reliable trucks. Toyota. And by Sears. Celebrate Sears' new century and enjoy all the ways we've changed and all the ways we haven't. The Raiders lead 6-0 over the Giants. We're in the second quarter with 7:09 left to play in the first half. There's what happens when you miss from 39 yards out. Your head hurts.
Especially when you're a new kicker. It's only your second week with the club, and they just cut 2 other kickers this week, Ali Haji Sheikh and Bob Thomas.
First down, Raiders at their own 22. They lead it 6-0. Dokie Williams was the man in motion, and Plunkett goes to work. Intended for Rod Barksdale. John Madden was saying before about the disadvantage of these two young receivers, Barksdale and Dokie Williams. But they say that Barksdale is among the best athletes they've ever had here, and he has a pretty good tutor in Cliff Branch.
Well, you know, he was a track man, and Cliff Branch was a track man, so I think they understand that part of it. They both had great speed, and when Cliff first came to the Raiders, that's all he could do is run fast, and he didn't know how to run patterns and make cuts, and he had to learn it. He learned it from Fred Biletnikoff, and now he in turn is teaching it to Rod Barksdale.
Hawkins moves in motion. It's back to Marcus Allen, and he is back inside the 20 to about the 18, stopped by Carl Banks. A loss of 5. The pass distribution up until today for the Raiders, the running backs, that would be Allen and Hawkins principally, caught 21 passes. The tight end, that would be Christensen, 13. And then the two young wide receivers caught only 6.
And that's one thing that you don't want to continue, because, you know, that shrinks down the field that the opponents have to defend. So I know they want to get the ball to the wide receiver.
Well, that's always
haven't been able to do it.
That's always been the Raider reputation. Let's get it up the field, and Allen can't get up the field. Elvis Patterson made the stop. Pat Summerall and John Madden. We're at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, the home of the Raiders. They lead 6-0. And we have 6:05 left to play in the first half. One of the Giants, excuse me, John, one of the Giant players, I didn't see who, was shaken up on that last play, but apparently everything is okay. He made it to the sideline. Ray Guy, almost a legend, number 8, back to punt, and Lionel Manuel back to return the punts, number 86. That's a little something new. Guy standing at the 1. Manuel at the 48. 1-yard return, and that's all. The Raiders down in good shape in a scuffle, which will stop in a hurry, or maybe not. Kenny Hill, the ex-Raider, and they've got him down and surrounded, and look out. 36-yard punt by Guy. They returned it 1 yard, so the Raiders, the Giants will take over with 5:25 left. We're in the first half. It is 6-0. The Raiders over the Giants with 5:25 left to play in the first half. Carl Banks was the Giant who was shaken up on the last play before the Ray Guy punt. And they've been checking him out. They've checked everything, John.
Yeah, they started and they checked his head, and then they checked his shoulders and his arms and his legs, and then they had him try and walk a straight line. And I think it must be something with the head, you know, that they're checking the balance to see that he's okay.
First down just at midfield. Raiders lead 6-0. Sims fakes to Morris. Looks deep. Bavaro's got a lot of room. Hammered out of bounds by Lyndon King. But a gain of 19.
I think now the Giant offense is coming this second quarter, and they're taking control of things. They have good pass protection. The Raiders are in a 4-man rush. But watch the pass protection here. They're doing a good job on the left side. You see the center there. Oates, he takes down Howie Long around the neck. But they're keeping those guys off of Phil Simms.
First down, Giants. There's the Raider 31. And on the move. Manuel in motion. Carthen, the reverse coming to Hostetler. Now he's going to throw it. He is the quarterback, of course. Now he gets to the outside. Still running. Finally gets down to about the 30. After all that scrambling, he might have picked up a yard before Stacy Toran took him down.
I'll tell you, the Raiders didn't go for this fake. What we're going to see is a reverse. See, he hands the ball off, then another hand to Hostetler. Now, he's going to try and throw. But the Raiders had double coverage on the receiver down here. He had no one open. So he had to try and rush and just run around there and get as much as he can. But Hostetler was going to throw the ball deep into double coverage. He didn't.
Second and 9. Bavaro at the left end of the Giant line moved before the ball was snapped, and they'll mark off 5.
False start. Number 89 on the offense. Still second down.
That was Bavaro, and he jumped offside. He was going against his old college teammate at Notre Dame, Stacy Turan. That's an interesting matchup. I bet they don't talk to each other because Bavaro is one of those guys that doesn't talk.
To anybody.
To anyone. Even in a locker room, he just sits in the locker and just stares right into his locker, into the stall.
In the opposite direction from everybody else.
Yeah.
4:16, 4:14 left to play in the first half. Sims has time. Intended for Bavaro, covered by his old teammate Stacy Turan.
Stacy Turan was probably telling the defensive coaches, he said, I know Bavaro, let me just get him. Here they are right here. Here's the pass protection. You see, this is the difference. In the first quarter, they were getting close to Sims, and they were kind of nicking at him and getting close. Now, in the second quarter, this Giant offensive line has taken over, and they're handling the Raider defensive line now.
3rd and 14. Sims will operate from the spread formation. That means that Galbraith is to his left. He has time. He had a possible pass completion to Lionel Manuel. Sam Seal was the cover man. It's incomplete, and I think they're out of field goal range. Landeta comes onto the field.
Well, they had to get that one more pass completion to get in the field goal range. That's a 35. It would be a 52-yard field goal from here. I think they probably needed another 5 to 10 yards for Cooper's range.
The word on Carl Banks, by the way, is that he suffered nerve damage in his leg, and that's why they were giving him all those tests that you were talking about. Fulton Walker. Landeta aims for the sideline. Into the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20. Landeta was almost successful. Punt of 35 yards, but they'll bring it back to the 20, and the Raiders will take over at 3:51 left to play in the first half.
Ranked Oklahoma has a devastating defense. Number 2 ranked Miami fields a defense-defying aerial attack. The 2 top teams in the nation next Saturday on CBS Sports.
You know, I think that the Giants should have had that ball before it went into the end zone. Watch Elvis Patterson. For some reason, instead of getting on the ball and keeping it from going in the end zone, he was worried about those blockers, and he got all spun around. But that was a pretty good punt by Landeta.
I don't think he ever knew where the ball was.
Well, he forgot that he was on the coverage team and thought he was on the return team.
That's Marcus Allen over the left side. And the whole pack moves up for about 4 yards before Jim Burt's on the bottom. They give him 5. Three and a half minutes left to play in the first half with the Raiders on 2 field goals by Chris Barr, who lead it 6-0. Atlanta over Dallas and Tampa Bay over Detroit. Rams beat Indianapolis 24-7. All those are finals, as is that one. Buffalo's victory over St. Louis. Denver over the Eagles. Big. 2nd and 5. Plunkett back to throw. Chase. For Christensen, incomplete. Covered by Terry Kennard. The Vikings overwhelmed the Steelers. Seattle beat New England. That's the final also. And in overtime, the Jets 51-45 over Miami. The Saints 10-10 with the 49ers, and San Diego leading Washington 21-10 in the second quarter down in San Diego. Kansas City 10-0 over Houston in the second.
Please contact the Coliseum operator.
3rd down and 5 situation coming up for Jim Plunkett and the Raiders. As Lawrence Taylor gets set to play the Big D.
The one thing about having a Marcus Allen, you can run an Allen on a 3rd and 5 situation and get a first down.
Allen comes out of the backfield. This time, so does Plunkett. Almost picked off by Elvis Patterson. The intended receiver was Marcus Allen, and Ray Guy comes on.
That's the other thing you can do is pass to a Marcus Allen on that 3rd and 5. And the third thing you can do is throw an interception to Marcus Allen on 3rd and 5. Had Patterson caught that ball, that could have been a touchdown because he was going one way, everyone else was going the other way. He would have taken that in the end zone.
He was going full tilt. Ray Guy stands back at his own 10-yard line. Lionel Manuel is back deep for the Giants. Off the side of his foot. Bounce, takes a good bounce, bounces past Manuel, bounces down to the 31-yard line. Guy didn't catch the punt, but he got a good Raider bounce. 2:49 left first half. 6-0 Raiders. It's going to be a long time before you see a college contest of that magnitude. Number 1 Oklahoma against number 2 Miami, led by Vinny Testaverde. Oklahoma, of course, they got a mammoth squad and some outstanding players as well.
I think when you see Brian Bosworth here, Oklahoma's great linebacker, you have to realize that a guy, puts 44, his number in his head, with earrings and a haircut, like, you have to be good. I mean, you can't walk the streets like that and be an average guy.
You better be good. Oklahoma's offensive line is bigger than the Chicago Bears.
That wins a lot of games. They won 63-0 yesterday.
Right.
A bunch of points.
This is Joe Morris taken down from behind by Sean Jones, number 99. Loss of 3. The Giants' first 4 possessions, they got it at their own 18. Sims threw an interception. They got it at their own 7. They had the punt. They missed the field goal, then they had to punt again. This is possession number 5 with 2:19 left to play in the first half. 6-0 Raiders. Pocket collapses around Sims. Greg Townsend and Howie Long again close to him. Townsend got there first.
It was an interesting thing. I don't think the Giants have seen that. The Raiders overloaded their defense. Their defensive line. Watch right here. They got their 4 defensive linemen all on this side of the center. They come on a stun here. They get the big push. They overload that side and get the big push on Sims. Watch, from the center on, all 4 of the defensive linemen were on the left side. And look at the surge and the push that they get on Sims with that pass rush.
2-minute warning will be given to both Bill Parcells and Tom Flores. The Raiders still lead it 6-0. 6-0. The Raiders over the Giants with 2 minutes left in the first half. Giants had the ball 3rd and very, very long. That's when you hear from Howie Long. They need 24 for the first half. Handoff is to Tony Galbraith. And he gets outside the 20, maybe 21. Jerry Robinson tripped him up, but Landeta will come on to punt.
And the Raiders have taken a timeout to stop the clock. So they've already had the 2-minute time warning. So what they're trying to do is take the timeout, and then they'll get another timeout at change of possession. What they did is the Raiders had their pass rush in there. You see those guys? They started going to rush the passer, and then the Giants were trying to counter and sneak a run in there to get in some position.
Landeta has punted twice. Fulton Walker back for the Raiders. She had that great and spectacular, although brief, career as a kick returner with Miami. 1:53 left as the Raiders take that timeout. Landeta is number 5.
The Raiders have been in this position a lot of times where they have, 1:53. It doesn't seem like much time, but the clock will stop here at change of possession. Then they have 2 more timeouts. Minute 53 seconds. That's a lot of time.
No flags. Good kick by Landeta. Chases Walker all the way back to his 31. Giants down in a hurry. Walker gets back to about the 36. Struggles out to that point before Andy Hedden knocked him down. A punt of 48 yards by Landeta. A return of 4 by Walker.
I'll tell you, that was a big punt by Sean Landeta. And the Giants were backed up. They needed good field position. Their punter got it for them on that one.
The Raiders will take over with Jim Plunkett at the helm. There's Landeta. Raiders will start from their own 36 with 1 minute and 41 seconds left.
Landeta has that single barred face mask here. That's not a bar for action, is it?
No. Barksdale's a man in motion. Plunkett, semi-roll right. Incomplete. Dokie Williams, I believe, was the intended receiver.
Well, the Raiders on that play, Pat, really flooded the zone. The Giants are primarily a zone defense, but the Raiders had 4 receivers in the same vicinity. I don't know which one Plunkett threw. He kind of threw into the middle of all 4. Kind of take your pick.
I don't know who was intended for. Plunkett, 7 out of 16.
Well, he had a good start, and then he's kind of slowed down a little.
Really? He has his team in front, however, 6-0. 2 field goals by Barr. Plunkett back to throw again. Going for the punch. Almost for Barksdale. Barksdale with a great speed.
That's the thing, you know, and the guy that he's running against there, Perry Williams, also has great speed. So you get 2 sprinters going against each other. Barksdale not only outruns Williams, but also gets behind Kennard. And that ball was about as perfectly thrown as you get. That was right in his hands. That was no thing. Watch him. Plunkett sees that. He's trying to give it English now to get there, get there, get there. It got there, but Barksdale didn't do his part of it.
Might hurt his shoulder again with that much English.
Come on, get in there. Get in. Oh, my shoulder popped out.
Back again. Throws it over the head of Hawkins. Elvis Patterson over on the coverage again. And Ray Guy will make another appearance with 1 minute 22 left first half.
Right, and now the Giants get the ball back. They have 3 timeouts, so they have plenty of time to do something. You know, one thing about Barksdale, one thing that bothers me is when you run fast, your eyes bounce up and down. And sometimes it's tough to adjust to that long pass. It takes time to learn how to do that, to run fast and not bounce your eyes.
I never learned that. Either running fast or bouncing eyes. Manuel signals fair catch at his own 21.
Good catch by Lionel Manuel.
I never had that problem either, but Cliff Branch had that problem. You know, where he'd run so fast he couldn't see something.
6-0 with 1 minute 14 left in the first half. The Giants take over. Coming up at the halftime, we'll go back to our New York studios for all the scores and highlights with Brent, Jimmy DeGreek, and Ken Stabler. And Irv Cross will be here at the Coliseum with a live on-the-field report and a look at the first half. The Greeks, by the way, will be analyzing that magnificent matchup between Oklahoma, ranked number 1, and Miami, ranked number 2. Heisman Trophy candidates all over the place in that one. Sims will operate from his own 21 out of a spread formation. The Raiders will try to put the heat on. Sims retreats. Gets it outside to Tony Galbraith. Galbraith gets out to about the 29 for a pickup of 8. Jeff Barnes tripped him. Clock running, 1 minute left first half.
Barnes assisting on the ball. 8-yard gain. 2nd and 2.
Sims in a hurry on 2nd and 2. Lionel Manuel makes the reception over the middle. Gets out to the 47, first down Giants. And now they take their first time out. They have 2 left.
I'll say this about the Giants. I think in the first quarter, offensively, they were unsettled. I think in the second quarter, they settled down, although they still haven't scored. But one thing that I can see here in the second quarter, the Giant offensive line has taken over, and they're doing a good job against this Raider defensive line. Interesting thing happened on the first down. Brad Benson was blocking. He cut Howie Long.
Meaning he went below his knees, right?
And he got him. And, Howie Long was up there, and he was ready to get a big pass rush, and Brad Benson just cut him down. There was a play before this one, and then he came back and blocked him like this on the second one. So you can see that Sims, they know that they're going to pass, but Sims is still getting time. That's the toughest pass protection you have to do.
Howie Long probably does something that no one else in the NFL, certainly not now, but maybe has never done in the history of the game. Look at all the different positions he plays.
That's the thing that he does. You see that he lines up and down. Here was the first down play. You see, Brad Benson cut him, and that gives him something to think about. Then he can pass protect, and they're doing a pretty good job on Howie.
And defensive linemen hate that, to be cut like that. Tony Galbraith stopped for a loss this time by Jerry Robinson. And again, the Giants take a timeout. Now they have one left. We have 36 seconds left to play in the first half. Bill Parcells. Would you say, John, that he would be what they call a player's coach?
I think he's a player's coach. I think he's hot now. You see, he got a little of the sweat going up there in the brow, a little of the gum chewing. He was arguing with someone over there about a play. I think that he feels that, we're getting a feeling for this game, and we're only down by 6. We're going to be able to go in and adjust by halftime. I think he feels confident that they're going to come out and do a lot better in the second half.
There is his new place kicker, Joe Cooper, who has one more year to go to get his law degree. He is the 5th Giant kicker in the last 17 games.
He's not really a rookie. He did kick for the Houston Oilers last year, and so he's been in the league, and he's kicked in games. He kicked the first time for the Giants last week. I've never seen a team that had so much trouble getting a kicker.
Well, they all seem to get hurt. In the last 17 games, they had Ali Haji-Sheikh, Jess Atkinson, Eric Schubert, Bob Thomas, the ex-Bear, Joe Cooper now. 5 in the last 17 games.
They haven't considered bringing you out or dusting you off and putting you out there, have they?
I don't think they got a big enough brush to dust me off. Sims gets it to Lionel Manuel. James Davis on the coverage.
Hey, that's a big play there for the Giants. That puts them to the 40. You see, they're going to need one more completion, and they'll be in a shot for a field goal. You see, again, here's that Pirate defense, and it's a man-to-man defense, and then Manuel does a good job. He works up, then he comes like he's coming in on James Davis, then he works back out to the sideline.
30 seconds left first half. Raiders 6, Giants nothing. Looking for Manuel again. Manuel pulled up. Sims didn't know he was going to do that.
I'll tell you, one thing these Giants have done is a real good job of Howie Long. Watch him now. Benson here's an old veteran. He's been messing with him. He's been cutting him. He's doing all this. And I think he really has Howie Long frustrated. You see, he starts to rush. He cut him. He just stood there. He didn't know what to do.
Well, he saw Billy Ard waiting after he got by Benson. And Galbraith was also there.
And Howie Long has only had one tackle in this first half.
3 wide receivers on the right side. Look for the Hail Mary. Sims is going to come out of the pocket and now lofts it down the middle. Intended for Bobby Johnson. Went over his head.
I don't know that Sims needs that one. I think with a ball on the 40-yard line, he only needs 10 or 15 yards to get in field goal position. I always figure when on the 40, the first thing you do is get in field goal position, then you go for the touchdown. But you don't go for the big one from here.
18 seconds left. The Giants still have that one timeout remaining. The Raiders have 2. Sims will operate this time from about about 6 yards behind the center. Bart Oates will do the snapping. Out of the pocket. This is Greg Townsend again. That's the 3rd time that Sims has been sacked. Townsend doing an excellent job.
That's the 2nd one by Townsend. He's a speed rusher. He's working over in the left end. He's working against Carl Nelson, who's probably the best pass protector on the Giants team. But that's the 2nd time that he's beaten Nelson.
The Giants take another timeout. That's their last one in the first half.
We can see Townsend up there on the left-hand side of the screen. You see what he did? He started up the field on Nelson, and then he clubbed him with his right hand and went inside. And when he did, he was right in front of Phil Sims.
4 seconds remaining as the Giants burn that timeout. Pat Hodgson over talking the red shirt. Talking with Bill Parcells. Giants out of timeouts. The Raiders have 2. 4 seconds is all that remains on the clock.
Now I think they have to go for that desperation pass because they can't afford to complete a pass and then get another play. They only have 1 more play. So I'm sure what they talked about over there is what the heck, we may as well throw it up in the end zone, see if we can get something here.
Throw it up in the air and bat it around and hope one of our guys comes down with it.
Or that the Raiders get a penalty on the play.
Lester Hayes. Look at Lester Hayes. He's laying deep in it. Lester Hayes is all the way back by the goal line.
He's right on the goal line. He's not going to let him score.
They're not going to get behind him. Here's what they're doing. Lester's back there. And they almost came up with it. Stacy Robinson almost got the rebound. That was close.
That's throwing it into coverage. Lester Hayes lined up on defense right on the goal line, and that's where they threw it. He must have been in the huddle. Look, here's where he lined up. He lined up there. Then he comes up. No, Lester, stay back there. Get back. Okay, I'll go back. Don't let him score. He almost got it. I'll tell you, that's throwing into coverage. The guy was down there, and they threw it right where he was.
So that's the end of the first half. And the score is the Los Angeles Raiders 6 and the New York Giants nothing. Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. Michelob Light, super premium taste and less filling beer. And by United Airlines, you're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.
Back in New York with Kenny Stabler and Jimmy the Greek, we need an adding machine. Take a look at what the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets did. 926 passing yards, 10 touchdown passes in that game. Dan Marino career high. He chucked 6 TD passes against the Jets. Watch Ken O'Brien go to Mickey Shore. Little hitch play here. Come on, Johnny Hector. And he gets down to the Miami 34-yard line. Now, O'Brien and Wesley Walker had a huge afternoon, but this was their biggest play of the game. All the Dolphins have to do to win it is keep Walker out of the end zone, and they do not. They go into overtime, and here is the moment of high controversy. The Jets win the coin flip. Here comes the return. It appears clear from this replay that the ball was coughed up before he hit the carpet over in the Meadowlands. The officials, though, say no fumble, Jets ball. And a short time later, O'Brien struck. 4th touchdown pass of the game to Wesley Walker, 51-45. Now, we did not play with time in this replay by NBC. We want to show you exactly how difficult it is for a replay official. Here is the end zone angle. He comes up and the ball is knocked loose. Now, folks, they got to dissolve out because the Jets off a kickoff are ready to go right now. And so I would think, Kenny Stabler, that there's an awful lot of pressure on those officials upstairs to make a quicker call.
Given that amount of time, it'd be an awfully tough call. Maybe the quarterbacks are schooled to hurry things up in that situation.
You know, Jimmy, we saw Monday night, and the Broncos didn't get a touchdown that they should have. This thing has opened up a big can of worms.
Well, you said that that's what was going to happen. Why don't you continue with it? I mean, keep knocking it like you have.
Well, yeah, but basically I'm in favor of it, but they got to get some guys up there to push the buzzer and make the call.
The decision needs to be made much quicker.
No. Listen, he made a great statement. Nobody realized how many bad play calls there were.
To the scoreboard, and let's get you up to date right now. Washington and San Diego 21-10. Chargers with the lead at the half. San Francisco and New Orleans. Bobby Aber out with a fractured foot. And Dave Wilson now quarterbacking the Saints. 13-10, the Niners with the lead. Kansas City and Houston in that game. The Chiefs shutting them out 13-0 at the half. And, of course, the Raiders and the Giants 6-0. What a second half that's going to be. We got more coming your way right after these messages from your local stations. Back in New York with Kenny Staler and a beaming Jimmy the Greek. He came back from Atlanta. Greek, I didn't believe you. The Falcons, they played their hearts out down in Dallas today.
There's only one problem with the Atlanta schedule, Brett. They have to play 9 people, 9 of the teams that were in the playoffs last year.
All right, well, Jimmy, let's show everybody the videotape and get them up to date. It was such dramatic fashion that the Falcons were able to come back in the intense heat of Texas Stadium. Danny White to Mike Sherrard, his top draft choice out of UCLA, and the Cowboys opened up a 35-27 lead. Then with time running out, Ken Stabler, what about this desperation pass by David Archer?
I tell you what, he's looking for the guy down the field. If you'll see at the end here, there's contact, but it took great concentration for him to come up with the ball, which he does right there.
And that was Floyd Dixon, who almost scored, was brought down, and then Mick Luckhurst kicked an 18-yard field goal. Now, last play of the game, Kenny, what about this pass to Tony Hill? Could he have stepped out of bounds and set up a field goal?
Well, he had some running room here, as you'll see. Once he catches the ball across the middle right here, he has some running room. And, you know, an athlete thinks that he can win the game right here. He's not thinking about getting out of bounds. Right here, he thinks he can probably score, but he should have probably gotten out of bounds.
Jimmy, do you think
there would have been 1 second left if he'd have stepped out?
And stepped in, might have pulled it out. Boy, that was a dramatic game. We had other ones. And, hey, Greek, smile again. You said Seattle would come east. I'll tell you what an afternoon he had. 38-31. The Seahawks scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. Now, Tony Eason had a big afternoon for the Patriots. Here he is going to Stanley Morgan, 44-yard touchdown, and it was 24-14. The Patriots led by 10. That was Morgan's 50th touchdown pass. What about this blocked punt against Rich Camarillo?
Well, they helped Seattle an awful lot. That's the second punt that he had blocked today.
And then it was David Craig with the winning play on this bomb to Ray Butler. What about Craig as a quarterback?
Well, a couple of years ago, he had a terrific year and took them into the playoffs, and I think it's the key. They're going to play good defense. I think the key is that Warner stay healthy and that Craig plays well.
I know, but if you go up the middle and pressure him real well, he's not a great quarterback.
Spoken like a defensive coordinator. Tampa Bay and Detroit today, and the Buccaneers have lost 19 in a row on the road. What about Steve Young?
I think this is when he's the most dangerous, Brent. It's when he gets outside and uses his running ability like he does right here. He's not a real pure passer.
All right, and the Detroit Lions lose in the Silverdome by 4. Minnesota and Pittsburgh. Hey, keep an eye on the Vikings. Jerry Burns doing a pretty good job. 31-7. I know the Steelers aren't much, but the Vikes are 2-1 now. How about the Denver Broncos? All over Buddy Ryan's defense. 33-7. John Elway had a tackle-eligible play for a touchdown in that game. Buffalo and St. Louis, and the talented Jim Kelly gets into the W column. 17-10 over the St. Louis Cardinals was the final score in Buffalo there. And the Los Angeles Rams over Indianapolis, 24-7. And Eric Dickerson was able to score 1 touchdown for the Rams in that game. And what do we think, man? He's the best running back in pro football?
I think he's dynamite player. If they can get a little help from Bartkowski to take some pressure off of him, when they get ahead, they can control the game with him.
Now, this was early on when the Colts were still in the game, and a deflected pass thrown by Jack Trudeau and Jerry Gray coming away with the interception, and that set up a rally by the Rams. And, Jimmy, your observation about the Rams was that early on they were fairly lucky, and now they believe in themselves.
There's no question about it. But the thing about the Rams is they're deep.
Their defense is excellent indeed, Jimmy. Now, Irv Cross is standing by live out in the Coliseum. And, Irv, I'll tell you, the kicking game continues to bother the Giants.
Well, no doubt about it, Brent. And, of course, young Joe Cooper is the 5th kicker they've had in 17 games. The Raiders came up with 2 field goals for the 6-0 score. But, you know, Cooper's an interesting story. He missed a 39-yard attempt earlier in the game, and he's a guy who came to the Giants unexpectedly. Last Friday, he was on his way to court. He's a law student in California. Here's a miss right here. But he was on his way to court and received a call by the Giants, and it was told you have 1 hour to get to the airport to get to New York. He arrived in New York at 12:30 in the morning. The next day on Saturday, kicked, Vick signed the contract and helped kick the Giants to victory last week. Today, of course, he's here still kicking, trying to make this roster. He told me this morning, he said, Irv, you know the life of a kicker. I'm here, I haven't made this roster yet. I'm living in an apartment in the New York area where I'm renting the apartment on a week-to-week basis. I hope I have a chance today to come up with a big one. He had a chance, missed his first opportunity. Let's go up to another old Giant kicker, Pat Summerall.
Thank you, Irv. I like former much better. I never had an apartment. I did it night to night. John, for two teams that felt that they were going to take deep shots at each other, both offenses have been rather conservative. I suppose it's a tribute to the defense.
I think, you can say it that way. I mean, it's the old thing, are we watching a boring game or a defensive struggle? And the defensive had a lot to do with it. But the offenses haven't done much. I mean, they haven't been able to run, either team. And, there's two great running backs in Joe Morris and Marcus Allen, but they haven't done anything. And I don't think they've tried or gotten the ball enough to the wide receivers. The Raiders, the wide receivers have yet to catch a pass in the first half. The Giants have caught 3. So I think who can get some running going or get the ball to their wide receivers in the second half is going to win this game.
John, the Raiders lead it 6-0, but the last play of the first half, when the Giants had the ball, it's one of those things where you throw something against the wall and you hope some of it sticks to the wall, and that's what the Giants took a gamble.
And it could have stuck. You watch all the Raiders go up there. Now watch this ball when it's going to bounce out. You see the ball out there? Now watch Stacy Robinson. It's bouncing right to him, and he lets it dribble right down to his feet. I'll tell you, that is as close as a touchdown that the Giants came in that first half.
Lester Hayes was all the way back by the inline, and still they almost completed it. CBS Sports coverage of the NFL will continue after this message and a word from your local station. Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mitsubishi Motors. Experience the sensation of the all-new trucks from Mitsubishi. Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will. And by GTE. G. No, GTE. 6-0. The Raiders lead the Giants. Pat Summerall with John Madden at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Let's have a look at some of the first half statistics.
I think somewhere in the second half, one of these guys have to come up, either Joe Morris or Marcus Allen in the running game. You see, Morris only has 17 yards for 2.4. Marcus Allen only has 22 yards for 1.8 in the first half. And obviously, that's not Morris and Allen. And I think the other thing, I think they have to complete some passes to the wide receivers. Look at the Giants. They've tried 11 times, but they've only completed 3. They also had 3 to the running backs and only 2 to the tight end. And if you look at the Raiders, you see they haven't completed a pass yet to a wide receiver, and I'll tell you, that shrinks the field on you.
It really does. It doesn't sound like the Raiders, and it makes it difficult. You might control the ball, but you don't get that many points. That's why we're at 6-0.
Well, and as you do that, then they can start putting their double coverage on a guy like Todd Christensen and on a back like Marcus Allen, and things just tighten and tighten and tighten on you.
Far to kick off. Mark Collins and Kenny Hill back deep, and it's Kenny Hill. He is cut down at about the 18-yard line. Steve Strahan, backup running back, brought him down after a 4-yard return. And so the Giants will take over at their own 18. The first series of quarter number 3, and the Raiders lead it 6-0. Giants are 1-1. Raiders 0-2, and they haven't been in that situation since Tom Flores was their quarterback back in 1964. Al Davis was the coach. Sims chased on first down, and down he goes by Bill Pickel. 4 sacks by the Raiders, and Sims is down. Back
I don't know what happened to the right guard on that play. It looked like Pickel lined up over the center and went to his left. Well, you hate to start the second half that way, but watch what happened. Pickel he just goes right around Bart Oates, and Chris Godfrey, the right guard, got there a little late. He just split the 2 of them. Godfrey was stepping out, and then when he came back in, Pickel was by him.
Both teams felt they had to pressure the quarterbacks. The Raiders had 4 sacks. The Giants have 1. 2nd and 18. Sims back again. Has time this time and gets it to his tight end, Mark Bavaro. to about the 20-yard line. He's pushed back from there, and it takes several to push him back.
You see how strong that Bavaro is, though? You know, there was one guy on him, he couldn't do it. Then there was a second guy there, then a third guy, and finally the fourth guy, Van McElroy, came in and delivered the final touch. Watch him. I mean, he's a strong guy. Watch, there's Matt Millen. Nothing happens. Here comes the second linebacker. He's still going. There's the third guy. He's still going. And then McElroy comes in and gets that pile going backwards.
Took a while to get it done. 3rd and 7. Manuel in motion. Sits out of the shotgun, back to throw. And does throw. Has Lionel Manuel, the motion man. And that should be enough for a Giant first down. He's stopped by Sam Seal, a gain of 10.
I like that in the passing game. I mean, you're 3rd and 7, and I see so many times they get 3rd down and they complete a 4-yard pass, and then they have to go ahead and punt. But here they had the 3rd and 7. They complete an 8-yard pass. Now they got a first down.
Get it up the field. That's the name of the game, isn't it?
Especially on 3rd down. There's no use in leaving it short. You got to punt it.
Hand off Morris. No Morris. Good yardage this time. A pickup of 7. Reggie McKenzie on the stop. McElroy with an assist.
That's what I think they have to do. I mean, I think they have to mix it up, but they do have to get some running game going. Now, you know, they've done a couple things here in the second things that we talked about. They got Joe Morris going on that run. They hit a wide receiver, Manuel for a first down, and these are the things that they weren't doing in the first half.
2nd and 3. Morris hit by Stacy Turan, the strong safety. Hurled backwards. Ball came loose. Turan came up with it, but it was down.
The Raiders have always been impressed with Stacy Turan because he's a tough guy. You know, he has good speed. He's a good hitter. He was playing behind Mike Davis, who was a starting strong safety, and Mike Davis injured his knee, and Turan is a starter. But he played a lot, even when he wasn't a starter. He was a good special teams player, and he played in the Pirate defense.
3rd down now. They need 4. Sims has to hurry. I don't think he got enough for the first down. It's going to be close.
Well, there's one that you don't like to see. They need third and 3, and you can't run a 2.5-yard pattern. 3rd and 3, you have to run the ball 4 yards.
It depends upon where they mark it. Parcells looks on with his running back, Joe Morris. And now Pat Hodgson into the picture.
One of the things that's hurting the Giants is they have to keep on 3rd down on passing downs. They're keeping Bavaro in a lot as a blocker, as they did on that thing. Now you lose your big target and your pass receiver there. They're going to have to punt this one.
They only need about an inch.
Yeah, that is a tough decision.
That's not even an inch.
I think you're playing the Raiders in Oakland, in Los Angeles, in the Coliseum. I think you have to punt it. I think Bill Parcells did the right thing. You hate to do it. You know, you hate to say, we ought to go for it. The fans are saying, come on, go for it. What the heck? But you can't do it. You have to punt it.
That had to be a tough decision, because they only needed less than an inch, really.
Right, and especially when your defense is playing as well as the Giant defense is, but you just can't leave it sitting there.
Fulton Walker back deep for the Raiders. Sean Landetta back to punt for the Giants.
There's a lot of talking going on down there.
Another good kick by Landetta. Chases Walker all the way back inside the 10 to about the 6. He spins away from one man momentarily, finally gets it back to the 10. But Andy Hedden made sure that he stayed down. Another good kick by Landetta. That one 54 yards. And Walker brought it back 4. So he nets 50. Boy, that's a game made for those with imagination. The Oklahoma Sooners ranked #1 against the Hurricanes of Miami, who beat Oklahoma in Norman last year. This one's in the Orange Bowl. That ought to be a dandy. Oklahoma beat Minnesota yesterday 63-0. They gained more yards returning punts than Minnesota did all day.
I saw one time their quarterback went back to pass and then started to run to the right. The guy grabbed his jersey and half his jersey came off, ran back to the left, back to the right. Got a touchdown out of it.
Marcus Allen carries over the right side. A pickup of 3. Hasn't been able to break anything. Neither Morris nor Allen. Jim Burt on the stop that time. Raiders ball at their own 11-yard line. Second down.
They say those guys are getting in there close. You know, linemen like to get in close to the other guys and get things going. Leonard Marshall has half his jersey cut off. Jim Burt has his taped to him and all stretched out there. Leonard Marshall's widened his stance this year.
Here's Plunkett back to throw. Looking. And he's going to run it. And does to about the 13, maybe a gain of 1. Gary Reasons was the Giant who made him go into his sliding maneuver.
Have you noticed the older you get, when you run, you kind of stay in place a little longer than you used to?
Yes.
Jim looked like he was running kind of in mud or something. I mean, his legs were going up and down like pistons, but he wasn't going anywhere.
You take the same number of steps, you just don't cover as much ground.
Those legs don't go quite. You know, he's close to 39 years old. You know, we aren't talking about a young body out there.
3rd and 6. Get back. Taylor on a blitz. Plunkett misses up the middle. Intended for Marcus Allen. Frank Hawkins, I beg your pardon, was the intended receiver. And Ray Guy comes on. The Raiders cling to that lead. 6-0 with 9:38 left to play in the 3rd quarter.
Well, I think one of these teams is going to get a little offense going here pretty soon. The Giants, after this punt return, should be in pretty good position to get it done, or to get it started.
Lionel Manuel back to receive Ray Guy's punt. They met 3 times previously. The Raiders have won all 3. Guy gets off a hanger. Pretty good one. Manuel signals for the Faircats just in Giant territory. And so they will indeed take it over in pretty good shape. A punt of 36 yards by Ray Guy. 6-0. The Los Angeles Raiders lead the Giants. The Raider quarterback, Jim Plunkett, sitting and meditating, unable to generate much on offense. The last 4 times they've had the ball, they have had it 3 plays and had a punt. The Giants have it at midfield now. 1st and 10. Phil Simms leading his offensive unit. That's Morris in motion this time. Simms back to throw on 1st down. Has time. Has the tight end, Bavaro. And he struggles down to about the 38-yard line in the arms of Reggie McKenzie.
Remember last year when Zeke Mowat was hurt for the Giants, and the Giants were so concerned that they lost a very good player for the season, and Mark Bavaro came in and he started playing. Remember, we'd see him in the beginning of the season, then in the middle he was better, and towards the end of the season he looked like one of the better tight ends in football.
And now he really looks like one of the better.
And now they say that he could be the best.
Simms on 1st down gives to Morris, and Morris cuts into the Raiders secondary. Inside the Raider 30, Bill Pickell, number 71, around his ankle. Pickup of 5 for Joe Morris. 10 times he's carried and picked up 28 yards. He doesn't know that his shoulder pads are outside his jersey.
Well, I think you kind of got to get the feel of the game. You got to carry the ball. You got to get stuff sticking out, jersey hanging out, a little dirt and stuff, you know, and get in the flow. I don't think Joe Morris has gotten in it yet. I don't think Marcus Allen's gotten in the flow of the game yet.
That's Morris in motion again. And Simms back to throw again. Across the middle. Lionel Manuel inside the Raider 20 to about the 17. Chased and caught by Lester Hayes. A gain of 11.
Watch Mark Bavaro on this play. We see Jerry Robinson. He's the linebacker. You see, he starts, he gets behind him. Then Matt Millen comes from the inside. That's how they double team him. And Matt Millen just pushed him down. But Robinson outsides him, and Millen insides him. Those are the type of things they do to tight end. Linebackers do that to tight ends.
Don't catch many passes when they knock you down, do you?
Hard to see them.
Sims fakes to Morris. Looks up the middle. Has a man. Touchdown to Lionel Manuel. He juggled it, but came down with it. Chased by Lester Hayes. And the Giants have an opportunity to go ahead.
You know, that's interesting. Bill Parcells said that they were going to work Lionel Manuel on Lester Hayes. They tried early, going straight up. Now on this drive, they hit him on 2 crossing patterns. And that's the second way. There's 2 ways for a wide receiver to beat a corner. Deep. One is to go deep straight up the field, and the other is like this. Watch Manuel. He starts in motion, comes all the way across the backfield. He stops. Now he comes up. Now he comes across back this way again. And you see he has Lester beat by 4 or 5 steps. So you can beat him deep, or you can beat him deep on the cross.
Cooper for the extra point. Penalty flag is down. Jeff Rutledge was the holder. The extra point was good. And if all stands, the Giants will lead by 1.
Offside. Number 99 on the defense. The point counts. 5 yards on the kickoff.
5 yards on the kickoff. That means they'll kick from the 40. And the Giants on this touchdown by Manuel and the extra point lead 7-6.
A man called Sweetness. Next Sunday on CBS Sports.
Lead the Raiders by 1. 7:25 left in the 3rd quarter. Joe Cooper to kick off to Stephon Adams and Fulton Walker. Walker's 41, Adams is 44. They want to get a running start.
They aren't forming a straight line.
Cooper gets it to Adams. Steps outside the 20, hit by Robbie Jones at about the 22. Return of 24. He was 2 yards deep in the end zone.
You know, in that touchdown, the Giants caught everything that they wanted to. Here's Lionel Manuel. He's going to go in motion. That takes Lester Hayes with him. Now they're going to double Bavaro with the safety and the linebacker. That takes them out. The weak safety doubles here, and then when he comes across here, he's just man-to-man on Lester Hayes. But sometimes when you have a tight end like Bavaro, who's leading the NFC in pass receptions, he gets a double. You see right there, they go with him. Now that clears out this whole other side for Lionel Manuel to work man-to-man on Lester Hayes.
Raider first down at their own 22 as Plunkett comes back to throw and throws. Marcus Allen out of the backfield to about the 29. Elvis Patterson on the stop, a gain of 6. Scoring drive by the Giants. They got it at midfield, kept it 2 minutes 5 seconds, and got the touchdown. Sims to Manuel.
And I think it was 3 things. I think, one, they had continuation of good pass protection. They got a little running in there to Joe Morris, and they started getting the ball to the wide receiver.
2nd down. Allen around the outside. He'll have the first. Up to about the 40, 41 perhaps. Elvis Patterson knocked him out of bounds. Allen's longest gain of the day, 13 yards.
You know, this could be the type of situation right here for the Raiders where you have to take a great running back like Marcus Allen and maybe give him the ball 5 or 6 times in a row. Because, as I said, he hasn't gotten in the flow of the game. He really hasn't run the ball enough, and I think they have to start that. Start giving it to him. Boom, 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 boom. Just keep pounding Allen.
The great ones, like Allen, don't mind that kind of attention. They like it.
Yeah, I mean, that's easy for us to say. Yeah. The ball does draw a crowd.
Jesse Hester is a wide receiver now for the Raiders, split wide to the left. Plunkett looks in his direction. Hester has it. And Jesse with good speed hustles into Giant territory before he's caught by Lawrence Taylor at the Giant 34. First down Raiders.
I tell you, Perry Williams, the right corner, was playing off of Hester. He looked like he should have been in pretty good position to make the tackle. Watch him. There's Perry Williams. He's going off. Hester has good speed. He gives him too big a cushion, catches the ball. Now he just gets in poor position. He looks like his left knee buckled when he went to plant.
Either that or he slipped. Something happened when he started to plant.
Yeah, that's not very good play.
Doki Williams wide right, Hester left. Williams in motion. Plunkett gives back to Allen. Allen slashes right for just a couple. Harry Carson will be the last Giant to get up. George Martin is there as well.
That's one of the things I think the Raiders felt they could do is run on him and then run to the right side. But Marcus Allen hurt his shoulder.
He is twisting and not getting up very quickly. Not getting up at all. See if we can see what happened.
Well, the Raiders thought they could run on that right side against George Martin, who's primarily a pass rusher. But you see, he's going to get hit right there. Now, you don't know if it was a hit or something that happened on his way down, or just having the weight on one thing and twisting another way, or whatever. But now it looks like they're checking his right knee, his right ankle.
Right ankle. Something on the bottom of that pile that we couldn't see as he was going down, I'm sure.
Well, you know, that's how they get a lot of those legs, is where they get the foot, the cleat planted in the ground, and then the leg bent another way.
Marcus is up, but Marcus is limping.
Hey, one thing, I was talking to Howie Long one time during training camp. We were talking about guys and players and who's tough and this stuff. He said, I'll tell you, the toughest guy that I've ever met in my life, anywhere. He said, in the East, the Midwest, the West, anywhere, is this guy, Marcus Allen. I've never met a tougher guy than him.
Howie's been in the company of a lot of tough people, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, Howie. I mean, Howie doesn't dine out. I mean, he's a guy that hangs out in the diners and stuff, the truck stops. Where's the cap?
Vance Mueller has taken Marcus Allen's place. That's Mueller in motion this time. Plunkett down the middle to Jesse Hester. At the 12 and another Raider first down. Taken down by Kenny Hill. Those two catches by Hester are the first two by Raider wide receivers.
Well, you know, they weren't going to play Jesse Hester. He was their #1 draft choice a year ago. He had an injured ankle, didn't play last week. They started Barksdale again this week, but they probably figured, we have to win this game. We have to get someone in there that can get open and catch something. I think they probably decided at halftime, Hester probably said, what the heck, I can go. And they said, what the heck, go then.
And he's gone. First down, Steve Strahan is now the deep back. The handoff is to him. Over the right side, he might have gotten the yard. George Martin, after a 1-yard gain, makes the stop. 4:19 left to play, third quarter.
You know, now that they've opened up a little and they got a couple of passes to a wide receiver, now somewhere here I wouldn't be surprised if they go to Todd Christensen. He's kind of been silent so far today, and of course he's a big part of this Raider offense.
And he has that ability to work himself into the open spot.
And the closer he gets to the goal line, the better he is.
Mueller has now worked his way into the Raider backfield.
Christensen has yet to catch a pass today.
Second down. Plunkett, a blitz from behind, and down he goes. The ball might be loose. And the Giants come up with it.
Jim Burt still running. He's to the 40, the 30, the 20. Burt's going. He's going to go into the end zone. Of course, it's not going to count, but when you're a nose tackle, man, you get everything you can. Look at him. He takes the mouthpiece out. He's going to hold the ball.
There's not a lot of room left inside that jersey, is there?
Oh, I know. And if he keeps squeezing that ball with that left arm, there's not going to be much ball left.
That's got to be his longest run ever.
Oh, yeah, he was just working out. I mean, he looked pretty good going down there. Had nice form, tucked the ball away. The Giants offense have the ball now.
And Burt's still walking back with the ball.
Well, he's going to keep that thing.
Morris comes in motion. The Giants lead by a point. Sims trying for more. Gets Bavaro, and Bavaro gets away. And now he's still on his feet. Stacy Turan got a ride.
I'll tell you, I don't know what that guy's made of, you know, but there's a lot of guys his age that are probably kind of upset because when he got there, he got all the good parts. I mean, he really does. I mean, he's a big guy. He got big arms, big legs. strong. He's a good-looking guy. Looks like Rambo. Quiet. Takes a lot of guys to get him down. Got a good deal.
He got some good balance to go along with the rest of that stuff, too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Here's Morris. Cuts upfield, falls for about 3. Tripped up by Mitch Willis. Matt Millen also in on the tackle. Tom Flores looks concerned and should be.
Well, I think, yeah, you know, I think that first game took a lot out of him, you know, in the whole team. And the second game, and now coming here. And let's watch what happened to Jim Plunkett. You know, coming from the backside. See, he doesn't see it as he gets hit by Elvis Patterson coming on a corner blitz. The ball just pops out.
Terry Kennard was back in there as well. Here's Sims throwing outside, again intended for Bavaro. Rod Martin on the coverage that time.
Yeah, that was Kennard that made that hit. It was a safety blitz, yeah. Kennard coming from the backside.
All the way around from the outside.
That's a tough thing for those quarterbacks. You know, I wonder if someday they won't put, like, mirrors on their helmets so they can have, like, a rear view mirror. Because a right-handed quarterback, he's looking to the right. He can't see or feel that backside. They put a little mirror up there. As he's looking to his right, he can see in the mirror, and he sees, boom, here comes Kennard. And then he does something, throws the ball or doesn't fumble.
Who knows? We've got instant replay now. Mirrors might not be out of the question. Sims flushed out of the pocket. Still has some time. Fires. Caught at about the 26. Stacy Robinson covered by Mike Haynes, but complete nevertheless. A gain of 21.
You know, one thing, Mike Haynes is maybe the best cornerback in the National Football League. The Giants really didn't have any intention of working on him today. Watch how good he covered. He's like a blanket. He's all over him. I mean, he goes out, he goes up. Now he thinks by now the play should be over, and Stacy Robinson still had one more move.
And the key to that, of course, John, was all the time that Sims had.
Good pass protection, because he was able to go up, out, up again, back, curl, hook. He did about 7 things on that pass pattern.
The whole playbook. Solomon Miller was the man in motion. Sims going deep. Picked off by Van McElroy in the end zone, and he stays there. And the Raiders will take over at their own 20 with 1:21 left in the first quarter. The Raiders stopped the Giants and Phil Sims.
You know, Solomon Miller was the motion man. I think that's who Sims was looking for. Miller was knocked down in the middle of the field. I think Sims maybe been trying to throw this ball away. But watch right here in the middle of the screen. You see, he went down. So now there's no one out there except Joe Morris. He could have been just trying to throw that ball out of the end zone. And McElroy got back there and got the interception.
Maybe he didn't see McElroy. He was back there, as he should have been, playing center field.
See, now watch what happens to Robinson there. I mean, to Solomon Miller, 87. He's running inside. He gets knocked down. So now there's only one man out there, and I think he tried to throw it away from him.
Raider first down at their own 20. Plunkett gives to Vance Mueller. Mueller struggles outside to about the 24. There's Phil Sims over on the sideline, a little unhappy with himself.
Well, you usually have 2 guys out there. He's going to talk on the phone about it now, but, you know, he's going to have the short guy, Solomon Miller, and probably the deep guy, Morris. Then he lost one. Then everyone reacts to the second one. So he's probably asking the coach, or the coach up here in the press box is probably telling him what happened to Solomon Miller. He was down.
2nd and 6. Plunkett under pressure again. Does get rid of it to Vance Mueller. Mueller down the sideline. Is not out of bounds yet. Mueller knocked down finally at the 12-yard line, and now they say he stepped out of bounds in front of the Raider bench, way back at about the 41-yard line. Terry Kennard finally got Mueller down.
And they're arguing back here in the 40. The officials trying to mark it, and the Raider players and coaches are arguing with him that he didn't step out there. I tell you, this Vance Mueller, he's a rookie that can really run. He made this team on his speed, and his speed alone. He's from a small college from Occidental. You see, he went out of bounds right there. Now he's going to come up the sideline, and that's where they're going to mark it.
It's unique in that it is his inside foot that goes out of bounds right there.
If it was his right heel, his left foot, I think, stayed in.
Yeah.
The right heel in a crossover hit the white.
Got some paint, and it was a good call.
Especially when it was on the Raider sideline. You know, you guys feel it was on your sideline. You have a chance to talk him out of it. That official was right there, and he saw that heel hit it. They're still arguing now.
28 seconds on the clock. 28.
He stepped out of bounds back here
28
with
seconds on the clock.
Red Cashin is telling you there are 28 seconds on the clock, not 8.
But what they do is when he steps out of bounds,
That's
the
when they
clock
stop.
has to stop.
Right.
But I don't believe that it takes him 28 seconds to run that far. He's supposed to be like a 9'4", 9'5" guy. Look at him, watch it. What? Ooh, that thing, that crossover, that right foot.
Right there. Sometimes the ball gets heavy.
Maybe the ball was out of bounds, too. Maybe the ball crossed the plane of the sideline. They're still arguing there in the sideline in the 40-yard line.
That really is not your after-dinner conversation going on right there.
They're saying he didn't touch, but he did.
At the 40. First down, Raiders. They've adjusted the clock now. And there's 28 seconds left, as Red Cashin had asked. Plunkett, all kinds of time. Over the head of Steve Strahan.
Pass is incomplete, intended for Steve Strahan.
One thing Plunkett has gotten in this deal is he's gotten some time. We see Leonard Marshall, who was a leading sacker last year, the Giants, is having some trouble there. He is getting double-teamed, but that's pretty good pass protection by Bruce Davis and Charlie Hanna.
That's as good as you can do.
Yeah, we haven't heard much from Wilbur Marshall today, Leonard Marshall.
I looked at the Giants statistics on the way out here. Who had made the tackles, and his name didn't appear in the first 2 games. Plunkett is smacked down. Carl Banks. And he has become a good-sized load as well.
You know, it's funny, we haven't heard much from Lawrence Taylor or Leonard Marshall, and here it's Carl Banks this time from the other side. They got Plunkett on the last thing from the backside when he fumbled the ball, and that time Carl Banks came right in his face. He didn't need mirrors on that one.
No.
He saw Banks all the way.
That's going to be the end of the third quarter with 3rd and 16. Marcus Allen up and walking around on the sideline. That is the end of the third quarter with the score. The Giants 7 and the Los Angeles Raiders 6 on 2 field goals. Next week, John Madden and I will be in Cincinnati, where the Super Bowl champion Bears will pay a visit, led by Walter Payton. And the Bengals have some weapons, John.
I'll tell you one thing. I think that they have the weapons to beat a Bear defense. I don't know that they'll do it, but they have the thing. I mean, they have a quarterback in Boomer Esiason. They have speed and Eddie Brown on the outside. They got the big running back, and they're a team that can move the ball.
Marcus Allen just went up the tunnel, went to the Raider locker room just a moment ago. Getting back to that Chicago-Cincinnati deal. In reading your book, you think Walter Payton is the best ever?
I think he's the best ever. You know, when you consider everything, I mean, the guy is blocking, his running, his pass receiving, and being able to do it over a period of years.
Plunkett in the direction of Jesse Hester, and 2 Giants right back there with him. Kennard and Perry Williams. For an update now, let's go back to our New York studio. Here again is Brent Musburger.
Well, Pat, just down the San Diego freeway in Jack Murphy Stadium, the Washington Redskins are hanging tough against the Chargers. George Rogers scores. They add the extra point, so they trail by 1 point, 24-23, fourth quarter. Back to Pat and John.
Those Redskins are a team to be reckoned with.
They are, and those Chargers are a team that no matter what the record is, they're always going to scare you.
Ray Guy back to punt for the Los Angeles Raiders. Lionel Manuel signals fair catch. The Giants will take over. We'll return to Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles after this word from your local station. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Dodge, setting new standards of performance. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. And by Federal Express. Why fool around with anyone else? Giants start first and 10, their own 30. 14:45 left to play. Giants lead 7-6. Stumbles for about 5. Van McElroy and Jerry Robinson made the stop. They give him 4.
What they're talking about is the next time the Raiders get the ball, you know, in the formations and the adjustments that they're going to use. And of course, the Giants do have a problem with Elvis Patterson has an injured groin. He's going to be out. So rookie Mark Collins is going to have to play that cornerback position in this fourth quarter.
Collins got an interception last week, but he still is a rookie. Straight ahead to Maurice Carter. Only his second carry of the day, and he got only a couple of yards. Bill Pickell on the bottom of the pile. Next Sunday on CBS, the NFL Today, followed by the Super Bowl champions, the Bears at Cincinnati. 12:30 Eastern Time. John Madden and I will be there. Bengals played Thursday night, and so they'll have some time to rest. 3rd and 4 at the Coliseum.
They could have the battle of refrigerators and fullbacks in that game. Let them both play fullback and run into each other. Woo!
Kennebrew and Perry. Morris out of the pack, and he's off to the races, too. Joe Morris, chased by James Davis and caught by Davis. They finally pop one. 53 yards for Joe Morris, and he's calling for some rest.
I don't know what that signal is. That you know that's a signal for I'm hungry or something. I want to eat, not that I want to come out.
That means I can't talk.
I'll tell you, he had good blocking over here in the right side. We see Bavaro blocking down. He doubles with Nelson, then Bavaro turns out. He blocked a guy to the inside, then he blocked a guy to the outside, then the left guard, Billy Ard, pulled right up through that hole. That's a pretty good play. I mean, Bavaro did get two. He got a guy to his inside, then a guy to his outside. Boom, Ard was up through the hole. Boom, Morris was right behind him.
And Solomon Miller got a good block. First down, Giants. Roussan has replaced Morris. Sims down the middle, touchdown. Lionel Manuel's second of the day. He got a rebound, but he hung on. The Giants extend their lead.
Hey, Bill Parcells has to feel good about this one because that could be the one that put the clamps on it the way they're playing defense now. That's the second one on Mike Haynes, but look, he's right there. He really has good coverage. The ball is tipped. He tips the ball right into Lionel Manuel's hand. You know, I mean, that's having good coverage and getting beaten, but it's good concentration by Manuel, you know, working against the tough defender and always being ready for a pop-out.
For extra point, flags are down. It's ironic. I don't think that ball would have been caught if Haynes didn't tip it. It would have been behind him.
I know it.
False start, no play. Number 60 on the offense will try from the 7.
Here it is again, the touchdown.
Well, you know, I think you're right. I mean, I think if Haynes doesn't hit the ball and redirect it and take something off it and bring it down a little, Manuel probably doesn't get it.
Flores over on the sideline with his quarterback Plunkett for the extra point. The Giants were penalized 5 yards, so the extra point will come from the 20 now.
And, of course, with the Raiders having 6, this is a big extra point.
Sorry, it's from the 15, just inside the 15. Rutledge is the holder. And he got it. Bill Parcells has watched his team come back with 2 second-half touchdowns. And they lead the Raiders 14-6 with 12:22 left in the game. Giants lead the Raiders with 12:22 left to play, 14-6. It has been tough in the fourth quarter in 1986. They got 100 points last year in the fourth quarter. No points this year in the fourth quarter. They haven't scored a touchdown in the last 2 games.
And that's why I think the way that they're going, the way the Giant defense is playing, when the Giants got that touchdown, that is coming close to putting a cap on this game.
Cooper will kick off. Stephon Adams and Fulton Walker back deep for the Raiders. Standing out at the 5-yard line, and Cooper chases Fulton Walker. Stephon Adams back to about the 1. Adams gets out to about the 25. Don't forget again that classic matchup. The Oklahoma Sooners against the Miami Hurricanes. Miami returns, by the way, 20 starters in all, including Vinny Testaverde, the quarterback, running backs Melvin Bratton and Alonzo Highsmith, and a linebacker named George Myra Jr. That's a familiar name.
That's something usually quarterbacks don't parent linebackers.
Number 56 of the receivers. It's first down at 10.
Raiders were caught for holding on the kickoff return, and so they start even deeper in their own territory. Kansas City in the fourth quarter over Houston, and San Francisco has taken the lead over New Orleans. That's in the fourth quarter. Here we are also in the fourth quarter with the Giants leading the Raiders 14-6. First down, Raiders at their own 13. Plunkett retreats. Gets it out to his tight end, Todd Christensen. That's the first pass he's caught all day.
I don't know if that's part combination that the Giants have had good defense or if Plunkett, in starting his first game, isn't seeing Todd Christensen.
One thing the Raiders do have working for them in this fourth quarter, if they are indeed to come from behind, is that the wind is at their back.
That's a long way to blow.
Yeah. Plunkett's got a man open. Doki Williams, and he's still on his feet. Williams struggles to the Giant 39. Perry Williams finally knocked him down, a 42-yard gain. And the Raiders move into Giant territory.
We were talking about a rookie cornerback, Mark Collins. He didn't get a bump out there. He's playing zone. He hit Doki Williams. The safety, Kenny Hill, number 48, didn't get over, and they were able to hit Doki Williams between the two.
That's just a... You got to give that safety man time to get over there if he's going to cover you deep.
Yeah, you have to get a bump on that double zone. Those corners have to bump that wide receiver.
Back goes Plunkett. Out to Vance Mueller. Mueller steps out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. The play before.
Yeah, here's what happens. You see, Mark Collins is going to come up here, but he doesn't get the hit on Doki Williams. Kenny Hill has to get over, and he gets over too late, and Williams catches the ball here. Now watch as the corner comes up. You see right there, he has to bump him. He doesn't. He misses him. The safety inside is looking at the tight end, and he can't get over. So Doki Williams gets right up the sideline. And the safety who didn't get over missed the tackle. And the weak safety missed the tackle. And Perry Williams finally made it.
2nd and 6 Raiders at the Giant 35. Plunkett quickly outside Christensen. Hit it about the 31. Carl Banks took him out of bounds. We're at the Los Angeles Coliseum, where the Giants lead the Raiders 14-6. We have 10:27 left to play.
Todd Christensen here just caught his first one. Now he catches his second one here. It's just a short out. But the linebacker, Carl Banks, is hitting him and stays right there with him. Keeps it down to a 5-yard gain and no first down. Now this puts the Raiders in a 3rd down situation. But of course, being down 14-6, even if they don't make it on 3rd, they'll go for it on 4th here.
3rd and 1. You saw what they had done on their last possession. Strahan is the move man this time, and Plunkett's going to throw. Plunkett's going to run, and he's got the first down. Strahan was in the end zone and appeared to be open. Out of the locker room, and the reason for the applause is the return of Marcus Allen. And the effort of Jim Plunkett.
Well, they're used to things like that in Los Angeles. You know, the old Hollywood thing, the old gun comes into town, and then the other guy leaves or something, then he comes back in to, to capture the girl. This is a script type of deal here.
Written for this Sunday, Vance Mueller is behind Hawkins. And the handoff is to Mueller. He gets maybe a yard out of the grasp of Carl Banks again.
It's one thing that's interesting. Early in the game, Lawrence Taylor was kind of dominating that side. And into the second quarter, the second half, and I haven't heard much from Lawrence Taylor. Now, maybe they are staying away from him. They seem to be working more to the right side. Those two guys there really haven't been heard from a lot, that right side of the Giants defense.
That would be 70 and 56. Jesse Hester and Dokie Williams are both split wide left. Now, Dokie comes in motion. Plunkett pumps, throws. Has Mueller. And Mueller gets down to about the 21 before the Giants' Andy Hedden leads the charge to bring him down a gain of 5. Herb Welch was there to help. Bring up another crucial third down situation as Marcus Allen re-enters the contest.
They're saying he went in the phone booth. We talked about him earlier. I mean, here's a tough guy. He's one of the all-time great runners that ever played this game, but he brings a lot with him.
Brings a lot of courage and a lot of ability.
And the Raiders, we're talking here, they need 2 scores. So this one drive, they have to get a drive here, get a score here, and then yet get another one.
Not just a touchdown. They need a touchdown eventually, but they'll take the field goal here if they have to. Timeout, Los Angeles. And that could cost them down the road. Just over 7.5 minutes left to play. And the Giants' lead is 8.
Has a devastating defense. Number 2 ranked Miami fields a defense-defying aerial attack. The 2 top teams in the nation next Saturday on CBS Sports.
That's the situation. Just over 7.5 minutes left to play at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The Giants leading the Raiders 14-6. 3rd and 4. Big down. Plunkett out of the pocket, looking for someplace to go. Fires up the middle and got Todd Christensen. And the Raiders pick up a very, very important first down. Perry Williams knocked him down. A gain of 11 on a great throw by Plunkett.
I'll tell you, that was all Jim Plunkett on that play, Pat. He was going to roll to his right. He was trying to get the ball out here, but watch him. He starts out here, guard pulls in front of him. He doesn't have anyone. So now he stops, he returns, he gets out of the grasp right there, and he's running to the left and throwing back to his right to Todd Christensen. I think this is who he was trying to hit. I think he was trying to throw to Marcus Allen. Watch what happens to Allen. He has good coverage here. Harry Carson's there, and right there, Allen starts to limp.
Vance Mueller replaces him. This is Hawkins, and Hawkins hammers down to about the 7. Jim Burt on the stop.
Now, the Raiders are in a 3-down area here because they have to kick a field goal because they need a combination of 2 scores. And it could be a 7 and a 3 or a 3 and a 7. With 6 minutes, 25 seconds, they have to think in terms of getting a score, getting the ball back, and getting another one.
We've got an illegal formation. Illegal man on the left side of the line will be a 5-yard penalty.
Bill Parcells spotted that penalty, spotted that violation, and he had walked all the way down to about the 10-yard line, exercising his vocal cords, and he got their attention.
That's the amazing thing. One, that he got their attention, and 2, that they did anything about it. They usually don't listen to coaches.
An illegal formation is what was called. And I'm not sure what it was, quite frankly.
Well, of course, you can get that by having too many men in the backfield or not covering the tackle.
So that'll make it first at the 16. They can make a first down without scoring. Plunkett. Incomplete. intended for Mueller, who made the dive, covered by Mark Collins.
Here's Mueller. He's going out there in motion, and then he's just running up, and then he's going to run back in and hook. I think Plunkett was expecting him to be outside, and Mueller was working back to the inside. That's a tough thing. When you lose a Marcus Allen, you not only lose a great player, but you have to put in a player who you haven't practiced with as much.
Marcus Allen had to come out. Mueller has taken his place. He's in the backfield with Hawkins. Hawkins retreats. There's the blitz. Dokey Williams was the intended receiver. No penalty marker down. Mark Collins on the coverage. There was some doubt about whether he'd be able to play or not. But he is.
That official's giving it right back to Dokey Williams. He gets behind Collins by a step. Collins gets up there and throws that left arm up there. That didn't look like pass interference to me.
That looked like good coverage.
He's pretty good. Watch, he gets his left hand up there. He doesn't touch him at all. Now the ball's beyond him. I thought that was pretty good coverage, yeah.
He might have stepped on his heel right there. Still good coverage. Third down now for the Raiders, and 15. Jesse Hester is wide to the left. Look out for Christensen here. Over Christensen's head and incomplete. And they have to take the field goal.
They have to take the field goal here, and then they get where a touchdown can win the game.
Chris Barr comes out.
First that illegal formation hurt, then the Giants had good defense. I think, like you say, they wanted to go to Todd Christensen. They did, but the Giants knew it too, and they had him double covered.
Barr is hit from 35 and 22. This one looks like it's going to be about 33.
And if they make it, it'll be the first time that they've scored in the fourth quarter this year.
Mark Wilson will hold. Call it 34 yards out. Chris Barr, perfect all year. He's still perfect. Barr's third of the day, and that's all the Raider points, and it's 14-9 Giants with 5:44 left to play in the contest. It's been a defensive struggle all day. Pat Summerall, John Madden, the familiar site of the Los Angeles Coliseum, where the Giants lead the Raiders 14-9. The Giants come into this game 1-1. And the Raiders come in 0-2. First time since 1964. And they face a very difficult schedule down the road.
Yeah, one of the things both of these teams do, it's, you know, the way the schedule formula works. This year, the AFC West, which is probably the strongest division in the AFC, plays against the NFC East, which is probably the strongest division in the NFC, and they play 4 games against each other. So you get their division games, then their extra games are against the other division. That makes for a tough schedule for teams from both of those divisions.
The formula is very complicated, but if you're looking down the road at where the competition might come from, the Giants and the Redskins play the identical schedule. They both play the same opponent. Lee Roussin and Mark Collins back deep. Accepting Barr's kickoff is Roussin, the 1. Gets to about the 16. A return of 15.
You know, Bill Parcells saw that illegal formation, and that got the Raiders a 5-yard penalty, and it was a big play. Now, what happens is here's their 2 tight ends here and their wide receiver here. There's no wide receiver on this side, so that makes the tackle here the end man on the line of scrimmage and makes him eligible, and that's why it's an illegal formation. The end man on the line of scrimmage was the tackle.
Unless he reports, of course.
Yeah, unless he reports, and of course in that situation he didn't.
First down. Solomon Miller is put wide to the right. Sims to Morris. Morris around the outside, chased from behind, and taken down by Stacy Toran. The pressure now, a loss of 1. The pressure now is on the Raider defense.
I think the pressure on the Giant offense is that what they need now is to take time off the clock and get first down. And, of course, you take the opposite of that. What the Raiders have to do is get penetration, make things happen. Don't let them get first downs and get the ball back.
The Giants will go back cross country after this contest is over. They face the Saints at Giant Stadium next week. It starts with the NFL today at 12:30. 2nd and 11. Morris lost one. Sims probably going to have to put it up. Morris comes in motion. Do not throw it to the other folks. Chased by Piquel. Eludes Piquel. Throws Bavaro. Bavaro knocked out of bounds. Enough, I believe, for a Giant first down, or very nearly.
I'll tell you one thing, for a second-year guy, this guy Bavaro is cool, isn't he? Look, here it is, a big game. They're playing the Raiders in the Los Angeles Coliseum. Guys are doubling him. The linebacker has him. He's fighting off the linebacker, getting by a safety, getting out there, raising his hand. Here I am here. How much room do I have out there? Let me catch it, stay in bounds, and take a shot, and get a first down.
Bavaro 6 today. That's 18 for the year already in 3 games.
I like that guy, you know, because he's a complete guy. He's not one of these guys that just catch passes. I mean, he blocks, he pass protects, he catches short ones, deep ones, runs over guys.
3rd and about a foot. Morris has it. Mike Haynes made the stop with help from Van McElroy, but a crucial first down as Morris picked up 4 yards.
I'll tell you, the thing that has impressed me, too, Pat, is this Giant offensive line. I mean, I know that they were worried about Brad Benson being able to stand up there over in that left side against Howie Long, but I think they've all done a good job. I mean, I think they've really given Phil Simms, for the most part, good pass protection.
They all wear numbers in the 60s, and they hang together. Today they really have. 4 minutes left to play. First down, Giants. Again. Down the corner. Van McElroy. Needs to stop, but Morris got about 8.
Hey, a lot of stuff goes down on there in the field. You get guys running, hitting, talking, yelling, trying to get first downs, trying to stop them for first downs. Remember at halftime we said that, you know, that's one of the things I think that has to happen. One of these running backs, either Marcus Allen or Joe Morris, has to start making himself felt. In the second half, Morris did. I mean, he didn't have anything in the first half, 20-some yards. Comes out here, now he has 100 yards.
And that's the first back in regular season to get 100 yards against the Raiders in 18 straight regular season games. 2nd and 1. Miller was the man in motion. Flag is down. It was Maurice Carthon with the ball.
Looked to me like the Raiders jumped off sides or got in that neutral zone or whatever they do when they call the defense. I think it was Howie Long.
Defense, offside, penalty is declined, first down.
Giants pick up another clutch first down.
Sometimes they say they encroach. Sometimes they say they line up in a neutral zone. Sometimes they say they're offside. That case, Howie Long was offsides.
I think you can do all 3 at once.
Oh, yeah. You can encroach and offsides.
Turan comes out. First down, Giants at their own 40, just outside their 45. Clock running with 2 minutes, 44 seconds left to play. Now down to 2:40. Good drive. Tomorrow. Joe hammers for maybe a yard. Maybe a loss. Lyndon King, the ex-San Diego Charger, number 52, made the stop.
When the Raiders picked up Lyndon King from the Chargers, they're going to use him as a linebacker against the run and also as a pass rusher. Joe Morris looks upset that he's taken out, but he looked a little dinged too, didn't he?
Well, you remember he had a problem in years past, hyperventilating.
And he also had a problem getting dinged. Remember, they had a deal last year where when he'd get dinged, they'd hide his helmet because he would get dinged and then he'd run back in the game. So they started, when he got dinged, they started taking his helmet away from him. I think it's that shot right there by Lyndon King as he was coming through. He got through that tackle, and Lyndon King came across and hit him in the head.
That might have been a dong. That was a little bit more than a ding, I think.
Yeah, well, it was a ding-dong because he went right for the chin strap to pull it off.
Atlanta beat Dallas 37-35 in the closing seconds. Tampa Bay had lost 19 in a row on the road. They beat Detroit on the road. Rams 3-0 now over Indianapolis. Buffalo behind Jim Kelly beat St. Louis 17-10. Cardinals 0-3. Denver 33-7 over Buddy Ryan's Philadelphia Eagles. They're 0-3. Minnesota over Pittsburgh 31-7. Their worst start, the Steelers, in 16 years. Seattle 38-31 over New England. And look at that score, 51-45, overtime. San Francisco leading New Orleans, and Washington coming back. Down goes, in the hands of Greg Townsend, the quarterback Phil Simms.
I think that was one of those plays that they thought that everyone was going to be pursuing. Now, that could be one that Simms didn't tell anyone, and he was just going to keep the ball and bootleg the other way, or maybe it was a planned call, but that was what you call a naked bootleg. Naked meaning he didn't have anyone out there to block for him.
Simms headed over to the sideline, and we'll get the 2-minute warning.
Watch what happens. You see, the backs are going to the right. He fakes to them. Then he comes out here in the bootleg with no blockers. That's a naked bootleg. Didn't work.
You're right. He didn't tell anybody he was going to do that. He just wanted to kill some time. 14-9, Giants lead with 2 minutes to play. Tonight on CBS, it's 60 Minutes, followed by George Washington, The Forging of a Nation, starring Barry Bostwick and Patty Duke. And then also tonight, Walter Cronkite at Large, the first of 2 primetime specials that Walter will have this season. That's all coming up tonight, right where you are now, here on CBS. Giants have it, 3rd down. Joe Morris lost a yard and lost his 100-yard game, and now he's got it back. Morris pounds into the secondary and gets about 9. Van McElroy stopped him. Bill Pickell helped.
That's an interesting play that they do. They just run it to the weak side. A straight ahead dive play. He starts inside and then can go back offside. It's just one of those college veer type plays. And Joe Morris has made a lot of yards on that play over the years.
And he got his 100-yard game back. 18 carries for 110 now. The Giants will have to punt, but the Raiders are out of timeouts with 1:49 remaining. And they now have to have that touchdown. The score here with 1:49. Next Sunday here on CBS. Many of you will see the 49ers visit Miami. Starts with the NFL today. John and I will be in Cincinnati for the Bears match against the Bengals. New Orleans visits the Giants at Giant Stadium. Green Bay against the Minnesota Vikings. Packers and Bears play tomorrow night. Detroit against Cleveland. Neighborhoods clashing. The Rams at Philadelphia. Rams 3-0. Eagles 0-3. Atlanta, surprising Atlanta, 3-0. Goes to Tampa Bay, and the Buccaneers now 1-2. Landeta back to kick.
I think this is where the Raiders ought to go for a punt block in this situation.
Fulton Walker standing back at about the 10. They've got to try to block this one. Don't get it. Let it go over his head, and it goes into the end zone. They'll bring it back to the 20. Raiders have 80 yards to go. 46-yard punt by Landeta. Tom Flores with encouragement from the sideline. That's the situation. The Giants 14, the Raiders 9. Raiders out of timeouts. The Giants have 3. Won't use many, I wouldn't think. Jim Plunkett leads his troops back on to the field. Raiders have 80 yards to go. Dokie Williams comes out wide to the right. Jesse Hester split wide to the left. Christensen, number 46, the tight end. Plunkett looking in his direction and finding Todd Christensen. A pickup of about 5, maybe 6. Harry Carson made the hit. Clock running a minute 23, and the Raiders again have no timeout. Plunkett back to throw, and does throw down the middle of Hawkins. Should be enough for a first down. Carson again on the stop. They'll move the sticks and move them quickly. The Raiders ready to go quickly as well.
This is where the Raiders need an outside receiver, someone that can get the ball and get out of bounds.
Mueller can't get out of bounds. Those kind of passes. Not going to get you much. And the clock continues to run with 48 seconds now left to play. That's the situation at the Coliseum. The Raiders out of timeouts with a long way to go. I don't know about these passes. That's not going to get it done.
Even if he tries to throw one to the sideline and it's incomplete, at least it stops the clock. He has to stop the clock. The Giants on defense have to keep everything inside.
Got to get this ball incomplete or out of bounds, one of the two. For Dokie Williams. And it's out of bounds, but they burned a lot of time. 9 seconds on the scoreboard clock.
He really, excuse me.
Go ahead.
I was going to say he really wasted too much time getting those short completions inside, and the Giants did a good job of getting on the guy, tackling him, and not letting him get even close to the sidelines.
9 seconds remain. 4th down. Clock stop. The Giants 14. The Los Angeles Raiders 9. This could be the last play. And the Raiders could be 0-3. The Giants would move to 2-1. Cowboys lost, so they'd be back in the first place tie if Washington loses. Plunkett with a bundle. Nope. And that's over. Bill Parcells has to be elated. First time the Giants have ever beaten the Raiders. And he hurt Jim Burke in the post-game celebration. Coming up next, 60 minutes, except on the West Coast.
I'll tell you, it's tough to be a player around an excited coach like Bill Parcells was.
Discouraging for Jim Plunkett, 38-year-old Jim Plunkett. Coming off the bench after Mark Wilson went down, and a happy trip back for Bill Parcells and his Giants. They beat the Raiders for the first time in their history, 14-9, their 4th meeting, and that's the final. Don't forget, coming up next, the NFL Today, the wrap-up show with Brent Musburger.
Number 2.
Next, the NFL Today, the wrap-up show with Brent Musburger. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
Here on CBS, and on that broadcast tonight, Diane Sawyer will be interviewing Imelda Marcos, and among other things, she will talk to her about all those secret Swiss bank accounts. Now, a quick look at the scores on the way to 60 minutes. For the first time, the Giants have beaten the Raiders. 14-9 is the final in that game. Houston and Kansas City still in progress in the 4th. The Chiefs are going to win it. It's 27-13. San Francisco beats New Orleans 26-17, the final in that game. About 2 minutes to go, and the Redskins can still pull this one out. 27-23, Chargers with the lead. Atlanta over Dallas, one of the big upsets of the day, 37-35. The Jets in overtime, they beat Miami 51-45, 10 touchdown passes in that game, 6 by Dan Marino. Seattle comes from behind, 17 fourth-quarter points. They beat the Patriots 38-31. The Buccaneers win for the first time on the road in 20 games, 24-20 over the Lions. Minnesota now 2-1, 31-7 over the Steelers. The Denver Broncos 3-0, 33-7 over the Eagles. Buffalo and Jim Kelly Kelly win today, 17-10, although Kelly did not have a touchdown pass. The Rams are now 3-0, and it is 24-7. The Rams with the win there. Let me update one score for you. The Redskins have just scored to take the lead out there inside of 2 minutes. Now, a reminder that next Saturday afternoon, there's the update, and the Redskins scored, so tack on 6 more. Next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time, be there. Could be the game of the year in college football from the Orange Bowl, the top-rated Oklahoma Sooners against the Miami Hurricanes. 60 Minutes is coming up next. Diane Sawyer will be talking to Imelda Marcos, among other things, about all those shoes she collected over in the Philippines. We'll see you next week. So long, everybody.